everybody? This is Too High to Talk. We got another excellent episode for you guys. I am your host with the most ghosts, and I have my new illustrious, fantabulous, my PIC, my partner in crime, my right-hand man, Michael Eder.
What's going on, everybody? That was weak. I need to do that again. What's going on, everybody?
Yeah.
That's better. We'll work on that. We'll get it.
And family to the show, we got Andrew Keatts in the building. What's up, Andrew Keatts?
What it do, baby boo?
Oh, what it do? I'll tell you what it do, boo-boo.
Yes.
A full pizza.
I'm full of pizza too, man.
Ready to smoke.
Oh, dude.
Ready to start talking.
Light it up. Let's go.
Dude, let's get this party started, bro.
Let's make it happen. I'm ready.
So today we have an excellent episode. It's probably a long-awaited episode. We smoke a lot of ganja on this show, and we've never had a ganja show.
How dare you?
I know that's some bullshit, right?
But it's
blasphemy.
It's kind of good we waited.
I mean, everyone expects it. Yeah, you know, you don't want to do what they want right
just want
away.
to jump out right away and be like, let's talk about weed.
Yeah.
If your first episode is about weed, they're going to think every episode's
It's
about
like,
weed.
these assholes.
These
guys
guys.
getting stoned.
They're just a bunch of potheads.
I mean, I think 11 episodes in,
It's about time.
it's time. It's time.
It's about time.
We're ready.
And we're trying not to drop as many F-bombs because we're listening to the fans.
Try to be respectful.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Try to be respectful.
Right.
The-
You know, we're not going PG-13 quite, but we're going to take it down from mature to 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
and maybe at times NC-17. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, getting fancy
Who
there.
knows?
And I'm not gonna say X-rated. That's just too far.
Well, I mean, hey,
But
it's up to you.
it's
your
Listen, it's your
show.
house.
So, Mike, welcome to Too High to Talk, my friend. You've been here.
I have.
You sat in these chairs,
I have.
and now you're a co-host.
And now I'm a co-host. I don't know how I weaseled my way into that one,
I don't know how you did either.
but I'm fucking glad I did.
It's
I mean,
probably
if you look at
because
your knee pads, you might
F-bomb
find
one.
out.
If you see the
Knee
scars on
pads,
your knees.
Amateur. So before we get into it,
I'm gonna spit that out.
And you and I were talking about this the other day. You got a super cool tag name, right? Ghost.
Yeah.
And I'm upset that you actually already have that one.
Yeah.
Because we're both in the paranormal investigations. We're part of, our paranormal investigative group, Truth and Evidence.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I would love to steal it from you. I can't.
Yeah.
But what I can do is I can do a jump off on that.
What's your jump off?
So I'm thinking Diet Ghost.
I don't know about that. How about Ghost Zero?
Ghost Zero could work too. I like it.
I think
We're going to
that's-
leave this up to the fans.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think we should
like
leave
it.
this up to the fans.
It's
Should
like-
I be Diet Ghost or Ghost Zero? And here's my reasoning behind it, right? Same great flavor,
Oh,
half the calories.
there it is.
Half the calories.
There it
And I'm
is.
absolutely 100% worse for you than the original Ghost.
Oh,
He's more
So,
toxic.
We already know
God,
that this is going to make sense
Oh my God!
right off the bat.
Maybe that's why you were infiltrating my dreams, and I had to bring you on the show.
It could be it.
It might be it.
I like Diet Ghost. I like Go Zero. I just heard Go Zero now, and that's awesome fucking pickup, Andrew. I
Hey,
like
man,
that one a lot.
You know,
Ghost Zero's
I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
And my wife is literally going to listen to this and go, "Oh my God, why am I married to this guy? What is
I
wrong
hope
with
nobody
him?
listens.
I
What is he
understand.
doing? I'm not telling any of my family to listen to his show."
Listen, last time I was on the show, I talked about interdimensional crap. Okay, I don't.
You did.
You got nothing on me.
Did you really? Were you talking interdimensional beings?
With the when we were actually doing Truth and Evidence. Truth and Evidence was on the show.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And we were talking about everything we were doing, talking about spirits and everything like that. And you know how I feel about it. I definitely feel it's like a different plane kind of thing. So I went off. I went off.
yeah, hell yeah. Well, no, dude. I mean,
a good
that's what
thing.
this is about. That's what this is about.
I like the fact that you related Reiki to bleach.
Hey, no,
I don't know how you got to that, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Wait, what?
Yes, but then we
This
listened
is awesome.
to your
But it made
episode
sense.
with what's her name?
Kim,
The Reiki Master.
Yeah,
the
Kim.
Reiki Master.
Kim
Kim.
Padalecki.
And she explained it almost no differently than I did.
Right.
Just didn't bring
Yours
up
may
bleach.
have had more THC involved in the
Completely.
production of thought.
100%. 100%.
At the end of the day, it still was. Yeah, it was
Listen,
on
the
par.
world
It was on
needed
par.
a simplified version. I gave it to them.
You did. And dude, that's what all we ask for. Hey, if you're coming here to get your fucking news, excuse me. If you're coming here to get your news,
freaking news.
with
a
your
$10.
freaking news, you're probably going to get the wrong fucking message. You know what I'm saying?
Probably. It's okay, though.
It's all right.
You may get some news. Who knows?
Just saying.
If you're a little bit of news.
It may be fake news.
It may be fake. It may be real.
I mean, like, our facts try to be, factual.
Yeah, but
I mean, we'll get there eventually.
Go to the CNN app.
Right. This is not CNN. This is Too High to Talk, baby.
You know what I'm talking about?
I feel you, homie.
I'm about to light this up.
I like it.
And at the end of the day, perception is reality. So if your perception is skewed by a copious amount of marijuana, that's just your reality.
It's like that
that's
commercial.
Your reality.
Right?
But that's the problem. It's your reality.
What's that
not everyone
commercial
else's.
where they're like, don't believe everything it's on the internet or whatever, and the guy's like, bonjour. Remember? Yeah. Oh, but he's a French model. No, he ain't.
Bonjour.
No, he ain't. All right, man. So we are talking about the ganja today, marijuana, cannabis, the green stuff.
The Mary Jane.
The Mary Jane, the indica, the autica.
That fluffy stuffy.
The indica and the autica.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the proper scientific term.
Yeah.
Can we, before we put the show up, we need to copyright that.
Yeah.
Indica or autica?
Indica and autica. Bumper stickers.
This is not belly buttons. We're not talking about innies and outies.
Yeah. This is what I'm putting on the, like where it says, describe your episode. I'm going to put
indica and autica.
Yes.
That's a good title. That's a good title. I like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, talking about this.
Yes.
All right. I'm curious.
Me too.
All right. So we're going to do something basically right now. We're going to say, what's your first experience and why do you still use? Okay. Whether it be CBD or whatever the case may be, whatever you use, what and why.
Okay.
And marijuana product.
Makes sense.
All right. So
I like it.
How about you, Mike? Diet Ghost?
Diet Ghost. Ghost Zero.
Get it straight.
I want the fans, before we do anything, the fans have to comment, what do you want my tag name to be? Ghost Zero or Diet Ghost?
There it is.
Leave comments. Facebook, Instagram,
Facebook.
YouTube,
I don't even
Twitter.
have to try. Like, I know what they're going to pick.
They're probably going to pick Ghost Zero. I like it.
So
I'm happy about it.
Where I got that name was, of course, I investigate Ghost, and I rode with a motorcycle organization that was called BACA. Mm-hmm. Okay, BACA is Bikers Against Child Abuse.
Okay.
And
That's
so
awesome.
I rode with these guys because I believed it was a good cause, and it really was. And I got to meet a lot of great kids and a lot of great people to ride with. But I just carried that name over because that was my road name.
Yeah.
So I carried that over, and bro, we could be like Ghost and Diet Ghost, like, and I could be on like driving the motorcycle, and you could be on the back seat, like just bear hugging, like we could be like
they call that riding, bitch.
That's fine.
I wasn't gonna say it.
That's fine.
But
it's not the F-bomb. It's okay.
I can deal with it.
But it's okay. I mean, if you think about it, he's riding bitch, but his junk is pressed against me.
So who's true?
Who's the bitch?
That is true.
Honestly. You know what I'm saying? So
that is true.
Hey,
I guess I ain't never really thought about it that way.
All I have to say is you're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right, Mike. What was your first time like, and why?
So it's actually a really funny story, in my opinion. Some people might not laugh. I really don't care because I always enjoy it. But I was like 13 or 14 years old, something like that, and I was supposed to hang out with a couple of friends that night. It was a Friday night. Had my bike, right? Rode my bike to my friend's house, knocking on the door. This is before the age of cell phones, right? So we had like pagers and shit. We didn't have, that's how you communicated with people, with pagers.
Beep, 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 beep.
So I called him, and I knew he was home, and he lived around the corner from me. So I called him, and I was like, yeah, I'll be over there in about 5 minutes. And get over to the house, ring the doorbell. Nobody answers, right? His parents were out. Nobody answers. So I'm like, where the hell did everybody go? Like, it's 5 minutes ago. So I go around the side of the house to see if they were like in the backyard doing something. And he had the shed in the backyard up against his back fence. And I hear like giggling and shit coming from the shed. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Thank you, sir. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck are they doing. So I go and I slide the door open, and it's like a rusty like door, so I really had to give it some force. Yeah. So I give it some force, and I scare the shit out of everybody in this room.
You're that guy
in the shed because they thought it was his parents. And I look down.
What are you fucking kids doing?
I look down, and just the amount of smoke that comes out of this shed. I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "We're smoking marijuana."
And they said
marijuana.
That's awesome.
Right? They didn't
That's
say
beautiful.
smoking weed, right? We're 13 years old. So we're like, we're
Beautiful.
smoking marijuana. And whoever like brought the weed over also brought this handmade PVC pipe bong. So this was my first experience with some handmade PVC pipe bong. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. And we smoked. And we rode around town the rest of the night, just high off our fucking asses.
Yeah. Everything's funny.
Everything was funny and just like having a great time.
So
like,
you got
the world
high
was
the first
new.
time.
Oh, absolutely.
I've heard so
He
many
said he got
times.
keyed.
I've heard so many times. You know, I didn't get high my very first time.
Me neither. I didn't either.
I like to talk about the first time I got high because that's the first full experience.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's not often you hear stories where people say,
get
"Oh yeah, the first
stupid.
time I smoked,
Yeah.
I got really high." But usually, I guess they're
Yeah.
We were also in that shed for like the
smoke was bellowing
without
out
bringing up names, right? This dude that came over had a lot of weed on him, and we smoked like all of it. We stayed out there for like an hour.
Hell yeah.
So it's probably the amount that we smoked, and it definitely wasn't good stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. The brick.
Knowing what we know now, right? It was like brown.
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you sure this is weed? Is this
You could
maybe
like
oregano?"
crunch it in your hands.
Yeah, more
it wasn't-
sticks.
it
More
wasn't-
sticks than anything.
It wasn't great stuff, but nonetheless, it was a great experience. And kind of now, I mean, I don't smoke a lot now. I basically smoke more for like medicinal purposes. You know,
Gotcha.
issues with my neck, issues with my back, my shoulder, my neck, my back. It's less than 15 words, so we're not going to get sued.
Yeah.
So my neck-
infringement.
Right.
Loopholes.
My neck and my back, and you know, my shoulders, just like issues that I've had. I had back surgery previously. I've got a issue in my spinal cord and my neck. So when I'm not feeling good, when I have a lot of pain, I refuse to take painkillers.
Same.
Yeah.
You're going down. You know, you want to talk about things. You know, and we talked about it previously, like the DARE program, right? And all the benefits right? The word of the DARE program or whatever, but certainly not. And like talking about marijuana as a gateway drug, just simply is not a reality.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody personally that went from marijuana to heroin.
Yeah. No, I
You
never
know what I
have
mean?
either. No.
I know a lot of people that went from Percocet to heroin.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of people that went from hydrocodone
Codone.
or OxyContin, which OxyContin just recently now has a huge class action lawsuit against them.
Dude, I knew
And has
OxyContin
been,
users.
It's been pulled off the shelves.
Yeah, I knew OxyContin users that were buying heroin
Right.
because Oxy was too expensive.
That was
and
the thing.
Oxy is a fucking basically like a synthetic.
Right.
It's like I don't get it.
Oh, we can get into
We
a
get
whole
deep on that
discussion
one.
about
But yes,
we're
but
gonna
so,
get deep into
so
it,
you're
100%.
using I mean, it basically is an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
So you smoke it, you feel that neck pain relief, the back. I know you have a lot of back issues. I do too. That's a lot of the reasons why I do it.
It's also why I might not be able to ride bitch on the motorcycle. I'm just letting you
You'll
know.
suck it up for Micah.
I'll have to sit in the sidecar. I'm just letting you know.
Dude, that back end will hurt you.
Oh, I know.
It'll hurt you.
It's not fun.
Especially when it's slammed on its bolts. You know
That's
what I
what
mean?
she said.
That
At some point in
dirty,
time, that
dirty
joke was going
girl.
to come out, and I just decided to throw it out there right now.
Nicely
That's what
done.
she said.
Nicely done.
But yeah, I mean, that's the reason for it, and there's so many medicinal qualities to it, and we'll get into that more when we get into like legalization and stuff later on. But it's such a different world.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't smoke for years.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't smoke at all. I didn't smoke. Hey, I'm not feeling well. 5-6 years from the last time I smoked until smoking now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just such a world of difference in terms of how I feel, my outlook on the day, having to ice my back, or just anything that I'm doing.
Stretching before you leave the house. And
Stretching before I leave the house.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
everything's
big
better.
one. Get the big one in, boys.
No, I'm talking about dude, there's some mornings my back will hurt so bad that if I don't stretch my hamstrings, like if I don't put my leg up on the couch and like lean onto my leg, like bro, my back will hurt the whole day.
I understand.
The whole
man.
day.
I understand.
And I mean, you take a little hit of something, and it's amazing to me to have such an intense amount of pain.
Yeah.
And all of us, literally 15 minutes after taking a hit, it goes away.
Yes.
Like, how does that? How does that happen?
Yeah.
With very
And
little
why
adverse
isn't-
effects.
Right. With I can function in a day.
Yeah.
I can go do things. I can go run errands.
And keep in mind, it's
shit.
moderation. We're not
Right.
talking about,
Yeah.
I got stoned off my
Right,
booty
right.
hole
Yeah.
this morning. Like, we're talking about like a quick little puff or two.
Yeah.
Right.
They have all different
That's
kinds
it.
of ways to do it now. You can do it through edibles. They have drops that
Yeah.
are literal drops. You drop it on your
drops,
tongue.
gummies,
CBD.
tinctures,
Yeah.
topicals. I mean, it goes deep.
I mean, it's such an amazing world to dive into now.
Oh yeah, it is.
And the people that are against smoking marijuana or against the medicinal benefits, which are overwhelming, just go on and do a tiny little bit of research, right? We talked
Just
about
a tiny bit.
yeah. We talked about during the conspiracy theory episode that we did about scientific method and asking questions and how
Yeah.
important that is.
Yeah.
You got to ask yourself, why am I against something?
Yeah.
Am I against something because I've been told to be against it?
Yep.
Or am I against something because I have the information at hand to actually physically be against it?
Exactly.
How much
general
research
mass
have you
belief?
done?
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing
Right.
is millions upon millions upon millions of people do smoke reefer.
Right.
I don't give a fuck, dude. I
Yeah,
I dropped the F bomb.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck, dude. But lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
teachers,
People
police
you do not
officers,
expect, man.
I honestly could drop a list of names and
Right.
that would be like, this person is a pillar in society, and this dude was reefing every day. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it's take a puff of it.
Yeah.
Do your own research.
Yep.
Go puff on it, because you know what? It ain't going to kill you.
Right.
Unless you got some, effed up stuff going on in your life, like you're on probation and you got stuff like that going on. Of course, don't go puffing the reefer. But if you're curious and you don't know what it is and it's legal in your state, go out and try it.
And you're of age?
And you're of
You're
age.
of age.
Because it's legal in some states, but there is of age.
Yes, of age.
Yes,
Go
of age.
go try it, and you will find out what it's like.
It's going to be
You know what I'm
life-changing,
saying? It's going to be
you know?
life changing.
It's not that you need to get immediately addicted, but it's life changing in a sense that you feel like, how did I not know about this?
Right.
Like, this is just, it's such a simple thing. Like, and it just, so much better.
And it's all part of programming, right? We're programmed to think
Right.
this is a big bad evil.
Right.
When
Oh, yeah.
in reality, God put weed on the earth
Yeah.
as like the miracle
Say
drug.
it.
And you
Absolutely.
get
Say
into
it.
it. And
Yeah.
it literally is like the miracle drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many properties to it. I mean, you can, we talk about adding it into food and consumption. Let's talk about the textile market.
Yeah.
We talk about
paper.
wood. We talk about bricks. We could all right now, if it wasn't made illegal when it was illegal, we would all be living in homes that are made of hempcrete.
Yes.
Yeah.
That are completely fire
Yes.
retardant. We'd never
Yes.
have another
Yes.
fire in the
Yes.
U.S. You have all these fires over in California right now where it actually is legal to do all this shit. Half of those homes would probably be fine if everything was made of hempcrete.
If we studied it.
And if we did,
being able to study it it's slowly getting there. We're slowly getting there, guys. We are.
legalized it, that's when they would start studying it.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. We're looking for an overturn of them saying, federally, it's legal.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to your states.
It's the biggest thing.
It's up to your states to decide whether you're going to get arrested for it or get a ticket for it or
Right.
whatever the case may be. But federally, it's okay to do. That's when they're going to start studying it, and that's when the world's going to change. I honestly believe that, because, I mean, if you look at people like Rick Simpson, he's the one that came out. He was an old farmer, and he came out with Rick Simpson oil, and he found a way to derive it, basically bring everything down to the oil, and was basically he didn't have an education, bro. He had no education, and he brought this to light. That
Oh, you said he was a farmer. It's a whole education in itself,
No,
bro.
but
Agricultural,
it's
crazy.
You come into, back then you used to come into your family that way. So
Yeah, right.
So, but what I'm saying is when it comes to textbooks and it comes to school, I don't think he was anything of a graduate. And I don't even think he went to school most of his life.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying
Neither did Einstein.
so non-educated, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about how brilliant the guy is anyways, but he figured out basically that this could be a cure for cancer.
I got a whole conversation on that. Trust
So
me.
people like this that are, that have, are basically studying it and trying to figure stuff out. These are the people that are plowing through this history barrier and this this bad stigma on this stuff. You know what I mean? And if we federally legalize it, then we can really figure out what it is.
Right.
It may be the cure to freaking cancer. It may be the cure to cancer.
It could be, man. I feel my own type of way about that. You know, long story short, my little brother, you know, he had cancer, like real bad. He had 3 huge brain tumors in his brain. Oh, man. We found out 1 month, and I mean, like, I broke down when I found out. But you know, 8 months later, all he did what they wanted to do. They operated on him. They removed it. They put him on, you know, chemo, all that type of stuff, and whatever else they did medically. But oh man, when I went and visited him, I mean, he was great because he's still my little brother. He's one of the strongest people I've ever fucking known in my life.
Is he still alive? Is he still alive?
Yeah, dude.
What?
Yeah, dude. 8 months, he was clean and clear,
What?
and he's been that way to this day.
Wow.
Like it's been great. And he was 18,
bro.
By
That's
the way,
awesome.
Dude, he's the strongest little dude I've ever met in my life, and he's not even little. Like he's not little anymore, but like he's such a strong man, dude.
Yeah.
Like that man, I look up to him, and he's my little brother.
So does he
And
does he
wow.
smoke or anything? Or
Dude, so much. Like I can't. All right. So I still get in trouble with my stepdad about this, but like I kind of introduced him to weed, like growing up in high school, because and like the way I felt about it, you know, it might have been wrong because I was, you know, young, I was about to leave for the military, but he was going to find out about it one way or the other in the neighborhood, like with the kids that we knew, the people that we hung out with. He was gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure that before I left, I taught him what he needed to know. So, you know, he didn't get trouble. He didn't get hurt, or he didn't get for really, you know, screwed over. You know,
Yeah.
Don't pay 20 a G unless it's like the best shit you've ever seen in your life.
Oh gosh, that's young.
Yeah.
That's young marijuana buying. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Goodness.
But I mean, like, you know, you got to teach them that little stuff. And then when I came back, he introduced me to dabs, right?
Oh god.
And that was the first time I did a dab, and holy crap, dude, I was so ridiculously stoned. That's the first time where I was almost like uncomfortably high, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes you can go a little bit too much. You
Yeah.
can smoke a little bit too much and get a little too high, just like you can drink too much and get too drunk.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. And that was the first time that it really happened to me. We just kind of like sat on his bed, and I was like, holy wow, this is crazy. And I thought I
Sweating.
smoked.
Eyes rolling back in your back of your head.
Yeah, man, it was wild. But yeah, dude. So anyway, I mean, he's been great since, you know. And I mean, that kid smoked more weed than I did. I know for a fact. I can't say it. I'm not a doctor, you know, whatever. Yeah. But I know for a fact that helped, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
It may have cured it, you know. I don't know, but it helped.
It helped. Yeah.
It helped him be a person when he was going through the worst part of his life.
I mean,
right.
Come on, man. Like,
you know, it's an amazing coping mechanism. It was awesome.
Really
so
is.
that's my story on that. You know, I firmly believe that THC, you know, cannabis, whatever you want to call it, there is something in marijuana that cures freaking cancer, dude.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just gonna say right now, Big Pharma's not gonna let that happen,
Oh
guys.
heck no! But that's what I'm saying is it, and probably
Yes.
why it's not federally legalized.
Yes,
Right.
yes, and
Right.
no, which we'll get into. Okay. But Andrew, I really want to hear, what was your experience?
Yeah.
Right. So
Man, my
what was
first
your
time.
first
All right,
time?
so I'm not going to talk about the first time I, you know, smoked because it was boring. You know, we were all following the hot girl in you know, the neighborhood, but I didn't really get high that time. The first time I got high, this is going to sound wild. I love my mom, first of all. She's fantastic. She went through a lot growing up, just like I went through a lot
Mom
growing up.
reefed?
Oh man, yeah. So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
My whole family, almost my whole family does. At this point, I didn't know it until I was an adult.
Of course.
Obviously,
And
you
as,
know,
you shouldn't really,
Right,
until
right.
you're an adult.
But I got my first inclination. I think I want to say I was like 15, maybe 16 years old. I've been playing guitar for a little while. You know, kind of coming into myself a little bit, starting to feel out who I am as a person, my actual likes and interests, things that I like, not what everybody wants me to like. You know, and I didn't know this. Apparently, my mom took me to a pagan party. I was not aware that it was a pagan party at the time.
That's why you're possessed.
No, but it was one of the coolest parties I ever went to, and it was like the first time where she was like, "Look, like you're a teenager, you're gonna be a man soon. Like you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Hang out with these guys. They're good people. They're not, you know." And they were. Every single one of them was awesome people.
Yeah.
Like they were all so fucking nice. So it like just just warm-hearted
That's just
people.
the
It was
way-
it's crazy.
Well,
Like
that's
you
a
hear all these
stoner.
stories.
That's
Yeah.
a stoner.
Yeah, man,
Really, stoners are like good-hearted people. They're like, yeah, man, I'm just
For
gonna-
sure.
Let's order a pizza.
So-
and chill.
I went to this party. Had great food. Obviously, they're all stoners. They had a little stage, a little band playing. I started playing guitar around the time. So, do you come show us what you can do? I got on there, played a little some, jammed with them, which was the first time I ever jammed like with anybody ever. And it was like a whole stage and everything. So it was cool because it was at like a biker bar.
Yeah.
And later on in the party, we went down. Everyone was going outside. I was just kind of following everyone. We all like hopped up in this Jeep and went out into a field, like blaring Metallica, like the fucking Jeep tops off. Like we were listening to the brand new Death Magnetic album. It had just come out and everybody's listening to it. We're all having a good time. And I'll never forget it because it was the first time
a really good album.
Yeah, it is. I loved it. I love that album.
I mean,
It's
I
one
say
of my
that
favorites.
like I say that like there's a really lot of bad Metallica.
There's
There's a
Saint
couple.
Anger.
Yeah, there's a couple.
But I mean, like, I love Metallica. That's besides the point. So we're jamming, and it's the first time I had ever seen someone put it in not like a blunt, but a Black and Mild, like an actual Black and Mild with like the tips on it and shit.
Yeah.
And so they were filling it up, and I was like, that's fucking weed. Like we're about to smoke weed out here. Like
This is about to go down.
we're doing this. This is awesome. Hell yeah, I'm with these guys. Like I love
I'm
this
hanging
right
out
now.
with these cool guys.
Like not 30 minutes earlier was the first time I ever drove a manual car, and it was some fucking WRX that was nasty out of its fucking mind. Like it was ridiculous. It was awesome. It was one of the best nights of my life. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
But dude, I got so fucking high off that because when you feel a Black and Mild, that's a lot of fucking weed.
Yeah.
Like a full Black and Mild
Yeah, it's a
is crazy. And we didn't cut it or nothing. We just emptied it out and filled it right back up with nothing but weed. So yeah, I got high as fuck. But it was the first time I heard Suicide and Redemption.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that song was so. I mean,
No,
like
not
I was
only
stoned
does
out of
he-
my mind, but
not
it
only-
was so good.
Not only does he remember the first time doing it, or like the first time he really got stoned, but he remembers the song.
Dude, I remember everything about it, which is crazy because, like, scientifically speaking, you know, marijuana is not known to be better for your memory.
Oh, yeah.
It's not. It's not. That's one of the adverse effects. It can, you know, your memory gets a
Short-term
little
memory,
right
yeah.
iffy, and it's not bad. You know, it's just I forgot my freaking wallet at home. Let me turn around at the stop sign and go back home.
Yeah,
You know.
smoke for another 15 years, and
Right.
You ask you that question.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I forgot my car.
We'll see.
Why am I going down the driveway with no vehicle?
I
But
forgot
yeah,
my
dude,
pants again.
I remember everything about it, which is crazy because I don't remember a lot from my childhood, which is probably traumatic.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, like that I remember that so vividly. It was fantastic, and I loved it, and I would never change it for anything because it was an awesome moment, and I loved that. The whole night was awesome. It was
Yeah.
just super fun, and it didn't come out until this year that it was a pagan party. This actually not this year, last year, because it was Christmas. I was with my mom, and I was like, "Mom, you remember that party?" She was like, "Oh yeah, that was a pagan party." What?
Or is there sacrifices?
You took me to a
Saturnalia,
pagan
right?
party? Yeah, Al's friends were bikers, and yeah, it was definitely a pagan party. I was like, thanks, Mom.
Whoa. Like the pagan motorcycle gang?
I don't know. I do not know enough to confirm or deny that at all whatsoever.
Because this is a different
All I
story.
know is
Hold on, because there's the
it was a
pagans.
motorcycle gang, and it was a bar that we were at, and it was cool. They had like a whole stage, dude. I'm not lying.
Like he was.
I don't know. I was young at the time, and I was like 15, maybe 16 years old. I do not know.
That wasn't a pagan religion party. That was a pagan motorcycle club party.
Oh, is that? Are they like
pagans.
near Delaware?
Yeah, they were kind of everywhere.
no shit?
The pagans absorbed.
Oh,
into
now
the
I gotta
hell-
research
if,
this.
If
If you tell me Hell's Angels, I will flip my lid.
it was,
Dude, what?
I believe so. I believe they were either made to absorb into the Hell's Angels, or they just basically kind of absorbed into the
I
Hells
apparently
Angels.
missed my life calling.
Bro,
I'm coming back, guys.
You need to ask. You need to ask her. You need to ask her.
She no, I did ask her. I asked her this year, and she said it was a pagan party, and it was a motorcycle club party. And it was a motorcycle club. We were at their motorcycle club bar.
The pagans.
Like there was a bunch of motorcycles, and there was a dude who had like a.
Can you bring it up right here, dude? Because I'm not joking.
I mean, that'll be that's
pagans
wild.
are a motorcycle gang.
I had no idea, and I like to say I know my fair share about motorcycle gang stuff, but you know. I didn't know. I've never did any research about any of the gangs in Delaware because I was only in Delaware for the first early childhood. You know, right up until I was 13. Then I was kind of back and forth between Delaware and Connecticut, Avon, Connecticut, which is like right next to Hartford, and it's like this. It was really weird living in Avon, dude.
Bro, this is so you were in Delaware?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Pagan Motorcycle Club, or simply the Pagans, is an outlaw motorcycle club formed by Lou Dobkin in 1959 in Prince George's County, Maryland.
Get the fuck out. That's close enough. Like we might have been in Maryland. Honestly, I don't know where we were. I just know we were somewhere near Delaware because it's where I lived.
Crazy.
But it definitely could have been in Maryland.
Go,
Hell's Angels, Mongols, Sons of Silence.
That's
but
also
I think
searched
if you get into like the history of it, I think I remember watching something on the Pagans, and I want to say that I think there might be a couple still around, but I thought that they.
Yay for unlocking childhood memories.
Interesting.
I mean, I only remembered this
it was
like
a pagan
yesterday.
party. You mean like with the cross? I mean the star with a circle kind of pagan, or do you mean like the pagan?
I'm definitely gonna have to ask.
Recently, the Pagans membership has begun to grow. Pagans have approximately 1,300 plus members and more than 100 chapters, and are active along the east coast of the United States and Puerto Rico.
So dude, that makes so much more sense. I'm Puerto Rican, and my mom's Puerto Rican.
That's awesome.
Oh boy,
yeah, dude. So maybe I'm wrong on the history, and I might be. I don't want a pagan to come after me and be like, "Dude, you're wrong." I'm just going off the top of my head, and I've watched a lot of shows, but I know the Pagans was one of them that I watched.
That's awesome.
Dude, those jackets look familiar for real.
Do they?
Yeah.
It's like a little Buddha guy, or what's in the middle? Is it a skeleton?
Let's see if we can zoom in on this.
That looks it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like it really does look familiar. Like the guy I was playing, like there's a dude playing drums and there's a dude playing guitar, and he was really fucking good too. Like really fucking good. Like I sucked. Like I know I sucked.
Dude.
I was just learning, but I mean, like they didn't fucking care, dude. It was so dope. It was so cool.
Well, that's cool, man. You're like not knowing hang around of the Pagans.
Right. No idea. Absolutely no idea.
Until like I was right now years old when I found out that I hung out
right
with
now.
Yeah.
This moment.
This moment.
Absolutely
you found out that,
crazy.
There you go.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
It's interesting. So anyways,
First on Too High to Talk.
So a pagan motorcycle.
Yeah, that was my first time. It was my first time getting
That's
really,
awesome.
really, really, really high. I loved it. It was great and it was fantastic.
So I mean,
I use currently.
You can honestly say that the first time you smoked, a pagan motorcycle gang member got you loaded.
I mean, like, honestly, I don't know if one of the members came with us in the Jeep. I'm not sure. They could have been. They could not have been. I don't remember. But I would assume there's probably a strong chance because then we did go back there. So probably a strong chance. I don't understand why we wouldn't have just, like, smoked at the bar. But it was like a really cool place to smoke at, though. Like, from what I remember, it was like a field behind the bar.
Well, that's what, when you're young, that's like what it's about. Let's go here and smoke.
Yeah, man.
You know?
And we were all in this Jeep, and we were, I mean, like, the music was so loud. Like, I know they own a whole bunch of land because the music blaring out of that freaking Jeep was so ridiculously loud. I felt it inside me. Like, it was...
Say that again, but say it slower this time.
And hold your tongue when you say it.
I felt it inside me. How was that?
We either had a lot more people log on to the show or more people log off. It's one or the other. That was awesome, though. I feel like, okay, I smoked with a bunch of 13-year-olds in a fucking shed, and he's like, yeah, it was a pagan motorcycle group. Nothing. No
I'm sorry.
deal.
I'm sorry.
Like, damn,
I remember I
fuck.
told Micah, I was like, look,
I'm just
my
glad I went
story's
first.
changing.
At this point, I'm glad I went first.
Right? Dude, that's freaking badass.
That's awesome.
How do I follow that up? I can't even follow that up.
Just make some shit up now.
Do it.
Dude, so
I was in a field and aliens took me hostage.
Yes.
And
I was in the
got me
middle of
loaded.
this weed field and these aliens came down, bro.
That's fantastic.
So why do you continue to eat? Why do you still use?
That's kind of a mixed question for me. If people know me, they know me. Mentally speaking, I may not be the shining star of mental health. I definitely have my own issues. I've struggled with a lot going through my life. I did 5 years in the military. It doesn't do great for your mental health,
especially when it's already bad.
Right, especially when it's already bad, and it definitely was. And that's my own fault. I don't blame the military for that. I was the dumb one who was at 17 was like, hey, I'm not in the best mental state. Join the military.
It's kind of like the answer for everything. It's
great.
Kind of like our parents, though. They're always like, the last resort is. We know that like the last resort is the military. For women, it's being a stripper.
I wouldn't change it for the world, dude.
Right? You can always be a stripper.
Always.
It's like
you can
guys,
always be
you're
a
kind of
stripper.
like,
But there's
I can
always
just go
the
with
military.
You won't be invited to Christmas dinner.
You won't.
But you can always be a stripper.
Sorry, I just tried to throw a joke in there.
You can hide it for a while, surnames, all that shit.
Right?
Yeah. For sure.
So this helps you on a day-to-day basis, like when you smoke, it kind of like helps you.
I love it.
Yeah.
It helps me. It just helps me kind of clear my mind. It helps my creative side. I play a lot of music, a lot of different kinds of music. It helps me chill out. I have my own anger issues. I've been through a lot. I may not talk to a therapist like I probably should every single week or whatever. But I've gotten where I am. I'm doing pretty good. I feel pretty good about it now. I've probably good handle on it nowadays. Everyone has their dark days, and off of that, if you do,
some people say
always ask for help.
So,
like it's not a bad thing to ask for help.
So no, absolutely not. God damn, I wish we had a number. Like we need a help hotline now.
Yeah. Call it.
So
call it. Use it.
Call it.
Let's make a Google Voice number real quick, and they can just call us.
There you go. There you go.
We'll be the help that they need.
Yeah. Dude. Hey man, you okay? No, man, I'm about to just go off right now. All right, man. Well, calm down. Calm down, man.
That never works.
No,
it never works.
It never works. So do you think, some people think that marijuana suppresses our feelings and stuff like that. Do you think it's suppressing anything that you have, or is it just an easier, like a coping mechanism?
So the way I see it, my mind, I had real bad ADHD. I went through literally when ADHD was like a huge thing and new, and they were just like force feeding you fucking Adderall, which is literal fucking meth. By the way, I did every single one, every single drug there was for ADHD.
My age, it was Ritalin. So like in high school and stuff, they always put, that's when the stuff started coming out really big too, and they started putting all the kids on Ritalin.
Oh yeah,
and I did like, just speed.
Adderall, Ritalin, Concerta, Vyvanse.
I used to buy them and snort
all of them. Yeah, dude. Yeah. When I found out kids were doing that, I was like, what? Why? I hate it. The effect that it has on me, because I actually have ADHD, was just more than just I can't focus. Like it's a chemical disorder in my brain.
So did it sedate you?
Yeah,
that's what it does, huh?
It zombified me, dude. I literally just like you think indica will put you in a couch? No. Have a fucking chemical disbalance and take an Adderall. You're like dead inside.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I do not wish it upon anybody. If you got kids on Adderall, take them the fuck off of it.
We used to call it Diet Coke. We did. We called it Diet Coke.
Are you serious?
Yeah. They used to sell it
at
at bars.
Dude, when I found out people were doing it like recreationally, I'm like, y'all are fucking stupid.
Bar that I used to work at.
Crazy.
Well, because I think people with that don't have an imbalance, it zooms them up.
Yeah, no, it does, and I've seen it. It makes them focus. It's crazy. The drug does what it's supposed to on the people it's not supposed to work for.
Right, 100%.
How does that make sense?
It should be productive.
But no, I worked at a bar in Rockville Center, New York, and one of the female bartenders happened to be dating a coke dealer in the neighborhood. It just happened. So he tried to he was literally a vulture, right? He would just come into this bar. He would come into this bar every night, and he would just try to sell. And well, he ended up getting kicked out of the bar. The owner saw him, kicked him out of the bar. He wasn't allowed in the bar anymore because he was trying to sell coke to everybody.
Yeah.
Now, it probably didn't help that everybody there was trying to buy coke.
Yeah.
So I mean, supply and demand.
It's
you go where the masses are, right?
It's a never-ending thing.
So he was in the right place. Let's put it that way. So he was dating the bartender. So they started doing something. Rather than her keeping coke on her, she would keep Adderalls. And when people would come up to the bar, they knew which bartender to go to. There was a line of people waiting for her.
Wow.
So what they would do is they would order 2 Diet Cokes.
Oh my God.
So they would get their margarita, and then they would get an actual Diet Coke, and she had the Adderalls in little baggies, and before she would put the ice in, she would drop the bag in. So you had the little Adderall pill in a baggie, wrapped up in the ice. She'd pour the Diet Coke in, give it to them. They'd give her a bunch of money that she would put in her tip jar.
Wild.
And then they would go, and you would have glasses all outside because people would just pour out the Diet Coke just to get to the Adderall.
Yeah, that's the stupid part.
And that's how they sold it. And I'm sitting there knowing who this Coke dealer was going, who came up with this for him? Because this is actually kind of fucking genius.
I was just about to say this, dude. Drug dealers, some of them are fucking geniuses.
Dude. And you never would have known really by meeting him. He used to sell actual Coke to people in the Vicks Vapor Rub snort things.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
He would take the innards out, fill it with Coke, and he would sell it to people. So you'd have people on the dance floor like, oh, we got some allergies, and just start snorting out of this Vicks Vapor Rub thing.
Holy
he was really
shit.
inventive with the sale. By the way, I don't think any of us condone the use of cocaine.
No.
But it's horrible. Not at all. But that's the extent that it went to on Adderall. That was what everybody in my area called it, was Diet Coke. Nobody wanted to be around it.
That's crazy. I never heard that before. That's absolutely wild.
Yeah, I never heard that either.
That's so crazy. Diet Coke. Let me get a Diet Coke, man.
Yeah.
No, man.
Let me get 5 of them.
You know what? There's some bartender that's going to be listening to this being, this is how I'm going to pay rent this month.
But yeah,
Go get a bunch of Adderall and like, you want a Diet Coke? Here's some Molly. Yeah.
Going back to what you asked me though, it really helps me sort through my feelings because when I feel a lot and I feel a lot all at once. And so it really helps me kind of slow down for a second, weed through it, and pick and choose my battles, pick and choose which one I want to attack first, how I'm going to fix myself or whatever's going on around me, or to realize that it's out of my control and there's nothing I can do, so I shouldn't freak out about it,
right.
But I mean, it really helps me in that sense, on top of the fact that, it helps my creative side. I sing a lot. I used to smoke cigarettes for a very long time, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the military, especially where I was. It's just everybody smoked. If you didn't smoke, you weren't going to be with the cool kids hanging out every 30 seconds, 30 minutes for a smoke break. God, I miss smoke breaks.
You missed the
my
time.
My productivity is up though.
Yeah, my productivity's good.
But you missed the time that you spend.
Right,
with the people
because
that
we
smoke,
had great conversations.
Because you can go
the
outside.
Moments are crazy.
You go outside.
I do not condone smoking cigarettes, nicotine at all. I do not condone it. It's not good for you. It's not marijuana, guys. It is just chemicals and substances you do not want to put in your body.
You're right.
Stop talking about cigarettes.
I love you guys. I mean it.
No, I want to quit.
We're going to take a quick commercial break from Marlboro and just go outside.
Harborough, I mean, that's a candy company.
Guys, look, you told me to come here and talk about weed, okay? I'm sorry.
That's what we do.
But yeah, no,
that's a fucking awesome.
It really helps
I'm
me
still
in a lot of different ways,
dude. I really am
trying to get around the pagan thing and just like
you didn't even know,
dude.
That's amazing.
It's so crazy that I found out. It's so crazy that that's what it was.
You need to call moms and just be like, dude, like, was it a pagan motorcycle club?
She's gonna listen to this and be like, oh shit, he figured it out.
Yeah, she's like, no, they're coming for me, right? And
I thought it was like a pagan party, like a.
That's what I thought. Honestly, that's what I thought. Like when she told me it was a pagan party, that's like what I thought it was.
The second you said pagan party, I imagined like wood logs,
naked women,
naked women dancing around like a giant
sacrificial
fire in the sky.
Religious altar.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Blood
like
everywhere.
Pagan party, like where the fuck did you grow up? Like,
we probably could have manifested it right here because I saw the same thing.
That's why Delaware is only 2 hours long. It's the longest stretch of driving.
Right.
You don't want to go in there. Just go around it. Trust me.
All right. So my first time, I didn't get loaded. I'm one of those people. So my brother, I made a pipe one time out of wood because my father grew. And so it was just always around. And I believe that's how we bought our first house. My dad bought our first house, the house that we lived in and I grew up in, off of his proceeds, his donations for marijuana. So that's, to me, growing up with it, I had a different outlook on it. It was always there. It was...
Mike's over here looking.
This is exactly what I saw. Tell me if this
Google
is what
images.
you saw.
No, that's totally what I saw.
That's what I saw in my head.
Yes. Where's the naked ladies?
They're there somewhere.
Yeah, they're there. Though.
It wasn't very much different from that though. There was a bonfire, and it was gigantic.
That's immediately.
I don't think there was a cross in it.
Immediately when
Just
I saw
saying.
By the way, I would have had this up on the screen quicker. I apologize. It was halfway through your story, but I just wanted to make sure we saw exactly what you and I were thinking in our heads.
No, that was
about the pagan ritual.
Yeah, no, there was a big bonfire.
Yeah.
Naked women dancing
someone
around
wearing
it.
a goat skull running around.
That's exactly with
crazy.
a red robe,
Right.
With like a burgundy
Right.
robe or whatever.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, a crimson robe.
Just
Yeah, man.
smoking weed.
Someone walking around
Lighting
just like
incense.
tearing pages out of the Bible,
Yeah.
screaming Behemoth songs at
Yeah.
the top of their lungs.
You like Behemoth, huh?
Yeah, man. Love it. Dude,
Behemoth
I
is
love
good.
all that.
They
I love all that
sing,
old shit, man.
They all sing and play, and
Hell
like,
yeah, man.
they're bad.
They're all
dude.
great.
I've
They're
seen
fantastic.
them multiple times. They're
Musically speaking, dude, when it comes to, I can't. Music is huge hobby of mine, huge love of mine. Like when it comes to music,
Weed
I don't
and
just
music.
listen to songs. Like I listen to everything in it.
Yeah.
All right, well, quit interrupting me. I'm trying to tell my
So
story.
go for it.
Do it,
assholes.
do it, do it.
Our bad. We'll get better next time.
So
We're
I didn't
sorry.
get high my first time. So
That sucks.
so knowing, my whole life I grew up, and it was just a part of life. It's just kind of something that was there.
Yep.
I always knew about it. I always grew up knowing that there was different types of weed. So Dad would always talk about like Mexican red hair, or Punto de Oro or whatever, like that type of strain, which was pointed gold.
You roll your R's so good.
Ante el mundo. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
so like I grew up knowing like that there was different strains. I knew that there was. I was a little bit more savvy than your average kid, and it probably made me grow up a little bit faster. But so my brother, I made this wooden pipe because that's what I just that's what interested me at like 12, 13 years old.
Like whittling one out of
I
fucking
whittled
wood.
one straight up.
Jesus.
Did you like drill the hole through it? Like, what-
I drilled the hole through
Nice.
it and then just carved
Dude,
out
can
the
you do
bowl.
that again one more time? Yeah, I like that.
Like
Yep,
that.
yep,
I like that.
yep.
You're like whittling shit. We're using like fucking pixie sticks.
Yeah. I was.
Anything we had that was tubular
you were doing
anywhere.
coke that young?
No, God no. But I mean, if you snort a pixie stick, it kind of does the same thing.
Diet Coke.
You can't tell me you never tried to snort a pixie stick.
Everybody on the planet tried to snort a pixie stick. They had to.
Yes.
That was easy. Pixie stick
easy.
was easy. That shit tasted bomb. Wait till you get to the crystal methamphetamine. That shit's rough. Rough. So, my brother says, you made this pipe. Now you have to fill it and smoke. And I was like, fair enough.
Yeah.
And so he goes into his room, comes back out with this bowl. I may have even been remembering wrong. Like I may have came up on it somehow, or I don't even remember. But I remember we had this pipe, and I smoked, and I just didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like 12, like I said, 12, 13 at the time. Didn't get it. I think it was junior high or something like that. Anyways, got into high school, and it was I was really focused on my grades, so that was like bad. I was like in a band, and I was like, we're straight edge, like we don't smoke marijuana, and we don't drink alcohol. Like that's the way I rolled for a minute.
I imagine you right now in a giant bow tie.
Yeah, dude.
He just said,
Slick to the side
I was
hair and
really
shit.
good in school, and that's bad. No, kids. It's
It's-
good to be good in school.
it's really good to be good.
You
in
might
school.
not have as much fun, but
If there are any kids actually listening to this program, their parents have already failed them.
Yes.
good point. Good point. Good point.
And if you're listening on your own, thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Thanks,
Hit
Mom.
the subscribe button.
Yeah, hit the subscribe button, guys. I love you.
That's awesome.
So basically, first time I didn't do it. High school, jumping into high school a couple years later, go to a friend's house. Kind of the same thing like you're saying. Like I think I think I went there to spend the night or whatever in high school, and we kind of knew that this was going down. I think somebody had came up on some right at school or whatever the case may have been. They're like, man, we got some pot. We're gonna smoke this weed, looking cool, man. Let's do this
I
tonight.
just imagine all the kids talking all day long. Hey, Bobby said he's got a whole ounce of pot at his house, and we're all gonna go smoke it.
Well, that's how
after
that
school.
shit rolled,
that's how-
right?
yeah,
that's
dude,
how
I mean, that's
school
how-
was. That shit.
Yeah, that's
fucking
all.
circulate.
Actually, and after I found all my plugs, I was the guy that like you would hang out with to smoke weed. But
yeah.
when the first time I did it, basically when I went there, we went out into the backyard. Mom didn't give a fuck, obviously. She's in the fucking bedroom or whatever. We're outside smoking this shit. I don't know if it was out of a tin can, something along those lines, probably not even as sophisticated as a goddamn PVC bong. You know what I'm saying? Just I think we did it out of a can.
Oh, it was really well built. I was really impressed.
Yeah, that's some shit right there.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
I mean, minus the chemical paste they used to seal the PVC.
Well, it was like clear
together.
PVC. So it was like, let me see if I can bring it up on the computer.
I'm gonna keep telling my
Micah,
goddamn
keep going.
story.
Micah, keep telling your
talking.
story and we'll go.
So,
Ghost zeros inconsiderate ass.
yes.
You asked me the question.
Jesus. So hit this stuff, and I mean, maybe got 3 or 4 tokes in, and started walking down the road, just like we're gonna go for a walk. And I just remember, like, about the time I hit the street, I was just like, I felt like I was floating, and I was like, the flow's coming, and like guys were like, what? And I'm like, the flow, man. You know what I'm saying? The flow. Like, I just felt like, yeah, I just felt this.
You feel it.
Feel this flow through you. You know what I'm
feel
saying?
it when you listen to music. That's why.
Yeah.
You know.
And so, like, I was just walking down the street, and I remember I just felt like amazing, just absolutely amazing. And I thought, this is it.
This is man.
This is the bee's knees. So
This is the best thing since loafed bread.
it really is. And so, to me, it was an escape. So, kind of had a rough childhood, and that kind of helped me get away.
Yeah.
And so that's what I started doing is I would leave the house on the weekends in high school, and then I'd smoke weed with my friends. And then I'd come back on Sunday and go to school, you know, or go home and spend the night and go to school. And then, like, you know, when I got my license, it was just, I never was home anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just because I was escaping.
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't get my license until I was 19, but I was always gone. I always had friends.
Got it my
that drove.
16th birthday.
I was never home.
Drove up to school, saw my buddies playing PE. I was like, what's up, mother effers? What's up? And they were like, dude, we got a car. And that's all you heard across the campus. We got a car. So, I mean, my parents never saw me, and all I was doing was smoking pot most of the time, and then until I got into harder stuff. But the reason why today I still find it useful and I still use is that, for one, all the pain issues that I got.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 300 almost 50 pounds, and I carry a lot of, you know, on my knees and my ankles, and, you know, I do a job where I'm on my feet every day, and so it really helps me de-stress.
Mm-hmm.
I come home and I just,
Yeah.
I blow, and it's just, I'm done. You know, like, I'm
It's
relaxed.
crazy.
I can
That first inhale, as soon as you just
just like, oh,
immediately everything just starts
kind of
releasing.
like
It's that sense of relief.
It's almost like
that kind of
getting
falls over you.
It's getting
Yeah.
into like that hot bubble bath with, like,
Yeah.
you know, candles and, like, you know, got the music on all light, and you just slide in like
Little
you're just
Barry
like,
Manilow in the background.
Yeah.
I'll get sick with it, bro. Like, you see, I'm already picturing it. Like, I'll do, you know, some
Your favorite
Yeah.
midget porn pulled
Pull
up
up,
on your
you know
phone.
what I mean?
Ready to
Oh, man.
go.
God.
I mean, what?
That Asian midget porn's got me hooked.
I told you, man. Midgets are where it's at.
So, I mean, on today's, you know, type of things is for one, it helps me with my pains and just coping with, and I don't have a whole lot of stress, but it just helps me deal with, you know, like everybody else's stupidity.
Yeah, the bits that come
How
up.
about that? It
Yeah.
helps me deal with everybody else's stupidity. You feel me?
You're all stupid.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing is, dude, and I'm not gonna lie about this, I love the feeling of being high,
Mhm.
and I just like getting high.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those
Totally
things. Like, there's
understandable.
an alcoholic loves the alcohol,
Loves being drunk.
loves being drunk, and I wouldn't say, you know, like, if somebody goes, "Well, are you addicted to marijuana?" I probably am in a way.
Yeah,
Because,
I understand that.
you know what I'm
I
saying?
kind of feel the same way sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like I am, because if I went a couple days without it, I'm gonna tear somebody apart.
Yeah, but you see, the interesting about
But it's not
thing about that
physical.
is, so listen, there's all kinds of, you know, mental disorders, all kinds of chemical imbalances you can have,
Yep.
and people take medicine to take care of that. And what happens the second they forget to take their medicine? then people just think they're this crazy, psychotic, like out of this world, criminal, like murderous person. Like it depends, but I mean, like, you know, that's what happens.
Yeah. So you get used to something on a daily basis, and then you take it away.
Exactly.
It's like somebody going off their benzos.
Right. It's the exact same thing. I mean, it can be a medication for multiple different things.
And I've quit. You know, I've quit through the years and whatnot. But the thing is, it's I always come back to it because I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It smells great. It looks great. It's a beautiful plant. It looks very nice in my pipe. And looks even better with fire on top of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I mean, the thing with addictions is there's so much of an addiction is the mental aspect of the addiction.
Yeah.
Like we talk about cigarettes, right? We don't want to talk about hard stuff, but talk about cigarettes. The physical addiction that you have to cigarettes is gone after 72 hours of not smoking.
Yeah.
So why do people still crave that shit 6 months after the fact? It's mental.
It's all the reasons why you smoke.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all just this mental
after
aspect
sex,
of it.
after food, after...
It's because of the way it makes you feel.
It's so
or
great
it's
after
because of,
sex. Oh my God.
Because of the way it makes you feel, or because of something that's nostalgic. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people smoke a lot when they drive.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
they get into a car, they start driving. It's that nostalgic aspect of it. So much of addiction is mental, and it's the way you're made to feel when you're on something. It's not the actual act of it making you feel that way. It's not the chemical balance of it.
Yeah.
It's how you feel in the onset or the aftermath.
Yeah, and trust me, I've had a physical addiction. I feel that I was physically addicted to methamphetamines because when I came off of those things, I literally, I could not get out of bed. Like I slept for a week.
If you get it bad enough, I know this for a fact. If you get it bad enough, your body will legitimately shut down. That's why there's methadone clinics, because you can't. Your body, if you do so much to a certain point, you literally cannot cut cold turkey. You will die.
No way of happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's crazy the toll it takes on your body and the way your body is actually addicted to it. If I were to quit smoking weed today, I would not die.
Right. No, that's what I was going to say. Now slash,
you know,
now slash. Look at weed. There's really no physical addiction. It's all in my head.
It's all the mental stuff.
You know what I'm saying?
It might be a little more grumpy than usual.
I'd be grumpy.
Yeah.
I'd be a grumpy bear.
But that grumpy is probably coming from the mental aspect of it, right?
Really
I don't have that stress reliever. I don't have that, however you want to look at it, that pain management. I don't have the stress reliever, and everything else creeps up on you.
Yeah.
And that's where that grumpy, bitchy shit comes from.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for sure.
Mondays suck. You
Yeah,
know?
Mondays
You didn't smoke yet.
Yeah, that day you couldn't get to your guy in time, or everybody's dry, and you're like, "Fuck,
If I had to go a whole weekend, oh my God.
See, I can do that. I can go a lot, and I do typically go a long time. Like I don't really smoke a lot during the week. I don't really, it all depends on what I got going on. But if the pain's bad, I'm gonna partake. I have to.
Yeah.
At this point, because I'm not gonna take the painkiller. Right.
I'm right there with you.
Your mental health has increased exponentially because of using it. Your pain management. I mean, how can we look at this knowing that we have experienced such huge benefits, and any sort of negative to it is so minuscule in terms of the benefits, right?
Yep.
I've had anxiety and panic attacks after smoking weed.
Yeah.
You guys might have also, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've had
happens.
that,
Oh God,
it happens. And you know what? Some people are never going to feel what we feel.
Yeah.
With marijuana,
Yeah.
they're
It's
never
too
going
much
to
of a
feel
good thing,
right.
It's possible. Just like you can drink too much. Just like you can take too much of anything.
Edibles. Anybody out there
don't do it.
thinking about anybody
Moderation.
Anybody out there thinking about doing an edible? Let me just tell you. Think again.
Eat the ear, not the whole gummy bear. Please
eat the ear.
Eat the ear.
Yes, do not eat the whole gummy bear unless they're like a really low milligram. But I remember homie gave me a candy bar one time, and he was like, "This isn't Cali, right? Where everything's legal, and you have all these crazy candy bars."
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of like a
They got it
Snickers
good,
bar,
man.
Yeah, there's like kind of like a Snickers bar, a little bit bigger. But he's like, "Man, just in moderation, bro." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
So you pop two, not thinking about it.
No, I mean, I'm just a fatty, So I take this little chocolate bar, and I'm like, "Oh, the chocolate bar? Yeah, who cares?"
Oh no.
Later,
He's in another planet, right?
Later to find out that this thing was 1,000 milligrams.
Jesus.
Hell yeah.
And I was on my way to the hospital.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, and you talk about panic
Yeah.
attack. Like they were like, "Sir, your heart is gonna burst out of your chest," and I'm like, "Well, do something about it.
Yeah.
Do something. Stop it.
What did you do? Nothing."
Yeah, doing something like that is like you're just it's a normal day, and all of a sudden you've stepped into an episode of the fucking Twilight Zone. Like,
Bro.
what is going on?
Oh yeah. By the way,
The world spins.
Just so
Yes.
you know, you can go to a hospital overdosing on anything and tell them, and they're not going to call the cops on you. That's
Yeah.
not
They-
how
they-
that
They
works.
can't. It's a HIPAA
it-
violation. They're
Yeah,
not
they
allowed to-
literally cannot. I
only way
learned
they-
this recently. Like I had always thought, you know, you kind of freak out and you don't really want to do that. That's the first thing you think. Like, don't take me to the hospital because
They're gonna know.
Obviously, on fucking drugs, you know,
Right.
whatever. But that's not how it works. They will not call the cops on you if you need to go to the hospital. Go.
Yeah.
By
There's
all
absolutely-
means.
There's only one way they would ever call the cops, and that's if you, for whatever reason, were a giant danger to yourself. Like if you
Right.
took
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bunch
yeah,
of
yeah.
pills.
Yeah.
But that's different.
try to
you know,
kill
that's,
yourself.
That's a
Yeah.
medical
You know what I mean?
lockdown. You know,
Right.
at that point
It's
they
a little
put
But
you
if
in
you
an
ate,
actual.
ate the shrooms,
Right.
Yeah,
and you're
if you're like
freaking out.
endangering kids or stuff like that, you know, there's stipulations
small
to
loopholes,
it.
but for the most part,
for the most part,
100%.
dude, just go.
So let's get into what I want to get into is why is weed illegal in the first place? Why is it?
Government said no.
I mean, there's
So-
a long list of things that I know
Right.
about. I don't know if you want to call them conspiracy theories or I mean, really, I wouldn't even say they're conspiracy theories because it's known what kind of happened.
So a lot of those documents are available nowadays.
Yeah, and so I used to go in high school and in grade school and stuff. They used to send us on these school trips, and we always went to Hearst Castle. Okay, and Hearst Castle is in San Simeon, California, and so we'd go always big classes, and they usually had school day where all these buses would go up to San Simeon, and then you take another little bus and you go up to Hearst Castle, and Hearst Castle is extravagant, dude. Like it's the gnarliest house I've ever seen in my life, dude. There's still zebras there. So William Randolph Hearst ran the paper companies. Basically, he had his own paper company. I think on the
Paper and lumber.
paper and lumber.
Yep.
And the reason why he had the lumber company is to make paper.
Yep.
For his newspapers. Okay.
That makes sense.
So in California, in San Simeon, he had this extravagant house built, and he brought these pieces of his home from other countries. So like his house, like, I mean, literally they took down this huge structure in another country, whatever it might have been, I don't know, like a cathedral or whatever it was, reassembled it in
that's
basically
awesome.
in his house.
That's
And
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So he has bring up Hearst Castle for me.
That's
Yes, sir.
That's like I have so much money that I don't even look at my bank account.
Oh no,
anymore.
more money than money.
Yeah.
I mean back then. So this is Hearst Castle. So
Temporarily closed. Gee, I wonder why.
due to COVID.
Jesus, what the fuck is this?
Holy shit.
Oh, that's in England. We want Hearst Castle, California.
Okay.
Oh.
Because I was gonna be like,
I was about to say there's something
damn.
like that in the US.
No, that one's actually haunted, really haunted though.
Let's go.
Let's go to it. Well, I'm glad we hit on it anyway.
Yeah,
Is this
so-
it? Hearst Castle,
Yep.
California.
So-
Oh, it's Hearst. Different spelling. That's my bad.
Yeah, how dare you?
I'm fucking up.
What's up, guys? This is Josh and Amy from California through my lens.
Oh yeah, Josh and Amy.
We don't need to hear you, Josh and Amy.
So see this kind of go through it with, we're watching a little video, folks, but this is what you see from the road down in San Simeon next to the ocean. You drive up to it, they take you on a
Man.
bus, and this is what you see. That's their the little center there where you buy tickets and you catch a little bus there. So we used to do this in all of our classes, and me and the wife have been there quite a few times when we first got together, just for it was about an hour and a half away, maybe an hour away.
Cool. That looks really cool.
So my grandpa told me one time that he helped restore the tile in that pool in the I can't remember, Neptune pool is what they called it. So my grandpa was a restoration worker for the state of California, and he restored historical buildings.
Wow.
and-
Holy crap. Look at that.
Now I asked my grandma, and she was like, "That never happened." But I remember my grandfather telling me that he restored some of them, some of that pool, and he said that he actually went into a basement of this place. The place has a basement with all the artifacts and everything that is not on display. So there's things from Egypt.
I mean, that would make sense for storage.
Yeah, well, and at different times he would bring them all out. Like different times of the year or whatever the case may be. He would have people bring these things out. But dude, the house is extravagant. It's gnarly.
Man, that place looks like it would be super haunted.
Dude, tapestries. He was a big film buff, so you had a lot of people that would come to his place. So you had like all the old actors, you know what I'm saying? Like Groucho Marx and like all these people, So when I started, I was smoking before I ever went to this place. And when I found out what William Randolph Hearst did, and we're going to get into that, I stopped going. And I feel like I'm boycotting the place. Because, see, this pool is lined with gold. There's gold tiles.
Goodness.
See all that gold in there?
Oh, yeah.
That's all gold.
Leaf.
You see
Look at
that? So, there's, Hearst Castle has a pool lined in gold tiles and stuff. And there's still zebras on the property. There's still all kinds
Zebras?
of. Yeah, dude. Like you drive like on Highway 1 going through that portion of California, and you just on his property, because the property is absolutely ginormous, but there'll be just any given day there'll be zebra out there.
That's crazy. He's like, he's got zebras.
awesome.
There was a griffin there one time.
Yeah, he had lions, he had tigers and bears and omais and the whole 9 yards. Like,
Wow.
Everybody traveled. They would travel on stagecoach from L.A. to his house.
And Stagecoach?
And, bro, and Stagecoach. Like, before there was any roads, and this place is out in the middle of nowhere. If you look at this in a map, San Simeon is in the middle.
That's what we
of
call
nowhere.
here. That's out in the sticks, boy.
So,
Yeah, that's down there, huh?
it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. As far as like major cities and stuff. You're in between Monterey and above Morro Bay, California. So it's just kind of out in the. So people would travel from L.A. all the way up there. That's like a 3-day trip. Come to find out, the city that I lived in, where it says Santa Maria right there. So that's that. I live just outside of Santa Maria, in a little town called Napomo, and I found out that the hotel that we'd investigated at one point in time, that was one of the people's layovers. So they come up to Highway 1 from Hollywood in L.A. and stay at this hotel and then go up to Hearst Castle. Now, let's get into what William Randolph Hearst did.
Go for it.
What I feel the story is that there was this plant that basically was coming, I believe it was coming in from Mexico, right? And so they basically said, this is the wacky plant. Basically, they kind of demonized it. You had, you had that movie. What's that movie called?
There was Devil's Harvest. There was Reefer Madness. Yeah.
So basically,
Yeah.
So you had this wacky stuff coming out. Everybody started kind of learning about it. It's kind of like what America did with the opium, right? So San Francisco and everything, they started condemning these opium dens that these Asian people were running, and kind of shut them out. And in California at a certain time, they basically locked up Chinese people and Japanese workers, put them in internment camps. Did you know this?
No.
Yeah.
We put them in internment camps, dude. We literally, like the Germans did, the
America's
Austrians.
shit.
You know what I'm saying? Dude, in California, you could still go to their dorms. You could still go see where they encamped these people.
During World War II?
Yes.
Yeah. They
Like-
were all over the country.
So when they bombed Pearl Harbor, they took them and stuck them, basically in these internment camps and shit. So anyways, they started like vilifying this plant.
Right.
More that they started researching it, they found that it has a 90-day growth cycle. So every 90 days they can cut a crop, plant a crop, and in 90 days they can cut a crop, plant a crop. You know what I'm saying? So this could be used for paper. This could be used for a bunch of different things, right? Medicines and whatnot. So what I believe and what I think I've read, we've both done papers on this in college. I think we have.
Yes.
I have. That basically William Randolph Hearst said, "There's no way that this hemp or this marijuana is going to take over my timber industry. So he basically put the kibosh on weed,
Marijuana.
So it was mostly based on that, right?
Yes.
Because hemp paper was used pretty regularly. It was used for twine. It was used for rope. All this different stuff. And when they were trying to replace it with the lower cost paper,
yes,
that was William Hearst's bag, right? He went there, and because he owned the newspapers,
what did he do?
He ran all these smear campaigns.
Yes, he did.
Against this evil Mexican plant, because he was racist. So he was racist against Mexicans.
Yes.
This evil Mexican plant called marijuana.
Yeah.
And that's exactly
And this is what it was called
he did.
before we got to it.
Yeah.
That's what they called it. Marijuana.
Marijuana.
With an H.
Weed with roots in hell.
So
weird orgies, wild parties, unleashed passions. Like what
Misery.
the fuck is that about?
Misery
I
and
love it.
evil.
Hold on a second. We're gonna get real
please.
naked here in just a minute.
Please. This is what it leads to, man.
So
I have not had this experience.
Right.
Hate, shame, despair.
Reefer Madness. I believe William Randolph Hearst put a lot of money behind that because he wanted the public to think that it was a bad thing. So it didn't become big. It wasn't. It didn't turn into a big thing. A cheaper, lower cost paper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have stock in it.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. He didn't have effing stock in reefer because it's so easy to grow, right?
Yep.
And it's so, you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have a stock in it, so he was going to put the kibosh on it. He slammed it down and was like, "No, we're still going to use paper. We're going to invest in all this stuff, and we're going to make this stuff bad." So he used his newspapers to basically put smear campaigns all over the place and basically telling everybody that this is bad stuff.
Yep.
Made movies, kind of put that stuff out there.
I love it. Women cry for it. Men die for it. Reefer madness. So the government got into it. Let's see. Let's scroll.
I was about to say what in the
1937.
Really,
1937. It looks like, or it was actually made. So let's go here and let's see.
Well, I thought it was a huge military thing that happened.
No, and then
when they were trying to figure it out. Oh no, you know what? That's just Pineapple Express. I'm just remembering a movie. That's not history. What are you doing,
it's
Andrew?
too high to talk.
Not yet. Clickety, clickety, click, clack.
I'm too high to fucking talk.
No history of cannabis.
I'm too high to fucking talk.
So let's go.
That was my little noise clip. It.
Yeah, there it is.
Nice.
All right.
There it is. Marijuana Tax Act of 1937.
There it
Uniform
is.
State.
There we go.
Yeah, with the passage of 1970 Controlled Substance Act is when it was
sir.
outlawed for use. Medical included in 1970. Controlled Substances Act. I mean, it just makes no sense. And I think you had touched on something earlier that we haven't been allowed to test it, right?
Research
we haven't research
studies.
I think the opposite. I think that all the research and all the studies and all that stuff have been done.
That's what I
They
think.
know how great it is.
Yeah.
They know that the pharmaceutical companies will, if they can't capitalize on it, if they can't legalize it to the point of where it's a capitalist product now.
Preach.
Pump them up.
Preach.
Pump them up.
That this is gonna destroy big pharma. It's going to destroy so many
man,
things.
I told you.
It's going to hurt the lumber industry,
pharma.
which for some reason the lumber industry is still big. You know, and the problem with people trying to overturn this and get this to legalization is that they have focused on one sole thing for so long. All the medicinal purposes.
Yeah.
Well, you know, government in the sky that rules me, change these laws so that I can use these for medicinal purposes. Well, we went over it in the conspiracy theory episode, and I'm pretty sure everybody here would agree. At the end of the day, the government don't fucking care about you. They don't.
They don't.
So saying this is going to make my life better isn't going to help because the other side that's making your life worse, Big Pharma and Adderall and Ritalin and all the drugs that we've talked about, OxyContin, they make the money. They're the profit center.
Yes, painkillers make them money.
So why on earth would they make this legal? Well, now, what are we doing? Now we're getting it to the point where it's a capitalist vehicle. It's a vehicle that can make immense amounts of money. And what are states and politicians starting to do? Because we got to talk their language when we want things.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Their language is money.
Economy.
Yes.
So the first one to do it, what was it? Washington? Colorado? Colorado, right? Look up how much they were in debt the week before,
And then look at how much money they
and
gave
look
back.
up how in a week.
and look
in
at,
a week.
And look at
Oh,
how,
well, I got one better. So you guys, you remember we were making fun of me a little bit the other day. It was mostly me making fun of me. But you remember
Yeah,
I was
math is
talking
cool,
about
guys.
the little spreadsheet I made, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, and this plays exactly into what you're talking about the amount of money. When you want to talk about as a politician, and it's weird that we're getting political on this, but it's an important aspect of it.
It is.
When you want to talk about a politician, what's the one thing that you can bring to the table that can fix the economy? The only logical answer is full federal legalization of marijuana.
Yeah.
Yes.
When a company stock starts to go down, think of America as a company, because it is, right?
Yeah.
Business of America is big business. So you think of us as a company. When a company starts to dwindle, what do? They come out with a new product.
They do something
Yes.
new.
Apple does this shit every year, and it's not even that new, right?
No, they have a fucking algorithm for that
Right.
shit. Well, let's give you guys the same freaking thing,
Right.
for $100 more.
But they
Sound
repurpose
good?
it, or they rebrand it, or they remarket it. At the end of the day, they come out with a new product.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time America came out with a new product that made us money? China beats us to every punch.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
That's very true.
You know the one product that we're really great at?
Weed.
War.
Hell yeah. Preach it, brother.
War is
Preach
the
it.
one product that the United States, nobody beats us.
Yeah, that's
Now,
true.
if China got into the game, it'd probably be a different story. But
Maybe Russia.
Nobody beats us in creating wars, having those wars extend extreme amounts of time. We spend a ton of money on war. And at the end of the day, that's our biggest profit center.
Yeah.
So that's the last really good product we came out with. And it's not a really good product. It's really profitable.
Yeah.
The other thing that,
it's a really shitty product, if you ask me.
Yeah.
the other thing that we're really good at is painkillers and pharmaceuticals.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
So those are our two biggest profit centers. And you have all these politicians. How are you going to save the economy? You're going to save it by legalizing marijuana. And I came up with a little algorithm here. So walk with me on this.
Okay.
walking.
So it says population, percentage of buyers, total people. I've done market researches on how many people on day one, if it was federally legal, how many people would buy marijuana in some way, shape, or form. How many people would they buy it? Because we got to think about the taxation on this. So there's 328,200,000 roughly people in the United States. Most market research shows that about 40% of people. You want me to expand that?
Please.
I don't think I can zoom. Can I zoom?
I'm not
on
wearing
this?
my glasses, man. I may be young, but
can't-
trust me, I can't see that
zoom.
damn far.
What I can do, however.
You can't zoom? Since when can you not?
Yeah, down there in the
Yeah,
right
dude,
corner.
down there in the corner. Are you kidding me? Don't you know how to work Excel? I
No.
thought you were the nerd.
I don't.
There we go.
Especially not on such a big
There we
screen.
go.
Screen's so big.
So it's so big.
That's
and
beautiful.
thin.
I can see that.
It has a weird curvature to it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
so 328 billion, 200. Okay.
328 million.
Million,
200,000. So roughly 40%, and most market research says that roughly 40% of buyers on day one would purchase a marijuana product. So that's 131,280,000 rough people that would buy on day one.
Yeah.
What do you think the average purchase would be? You know, I imagine Marlboro getting in on it, right? And Marlboro sitting there and selling a pack of
Right,
joints.
they have them. They have
Right.
those.
I'll be
They
honest
sell,
with you,
They sell packs.
I
of
would go to the store
joints.
with a $100 bill
$100 bill. So
just to see what you got.
But
You-
you
would
think that's
seem-
about average? $100?
I was going to say closer to 200.
I
But
say
that's
so.
me.
If I mean, it depends. It really depends on where you're at because every area. But
Mm-hmm.
say we were talking about California. Depending on where you are in California, cost of living in California is pretty high. So
Right.
I'd expect people to probably come in and spend $250.
Okay.
Like on
See,
average.
what we used to do is we used to go from collective to collective, and we used to spend $100 at each collective because
Okay.
when you went into the collective, you bought 1/8, you got one free. You
okay.
you bought over $100.
It's crazy
Or
to
you bought
think of
over $90
it
worth
being
of stuff.
sold
You got a
like
free
that.
joint.
Insane.
So we would go to each spot and spend $100, and then go to the next spot, spend $100, get all their free products. Go to the next spot, get a free sucker and this and that, and then go to the next spot.
Cool.
That's the way we rolled. So that's why I say $100 is enough for the average person, I think,
Okay.
to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because even
Especially if it's like your 1st time.
And we're thinking of all the people, dude, that don't really buy it, that would go out and buy it. And they're probably thinking, well, maybe $100 will do me You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. A normal person, it's a weed smoker, would go, I'm gonna go with $200 and try to get me a half ounce and some dabs and some whatnots. But I think on average, I would think more around 100.
Right. Okay. So $100, right? We put average purchase here, $100, and then we have taxes, right? These are federal taxes, 4%.
Okay.
Which is pretty average.
Yeah.
4%, 3% for state taxes. So each individual state, this is what all the states would accumulate over the first day of selling to 40% of the people. $525,120,000 in taxable revenue that can go towards the national debt or anything else you want it to go to.
I have a question.
On day one. Yes.
But how much does the actual industry cost? You have to factor in cost if you're going to factor profit immediately.
Oh, this is just taxes.
That's just taxes.
This is just tax money that the
tax money.
This is tax money that the federal government collects. On the sale
When
of it.
you buy.
So
it's
that's
$100.
just
It's
tax
$100
money.
purchase.
That's not talking about
Yeah.
the rest of the industry. That's literally just the government's
taxes.
money.
This is what the
That's
government
the money
collects
makes off of it.
on day one at 4%,
Right.
and that's if they're nice to us and they only charge us 4%.
And that's what I'm saying. That's ridiculous. Most states, I think that's a roundish number for maybe one of the U.S. states' debt. Maybe not million, probably like 500-ish thousand per state.
So what? Okay, so think about it with me. If I spent $50 and it was $57.50 out the door for the bag, that's what ended up happening in California.
Right.
People without their medical cards got charged a tax.
Okay.
People that had their medical cards didn't get taxed because it's a medical.
This is for recreational purposes.
Yes.
This isn't medicinal. This is you go into the local Parkers and you buy a pack of Marlboro marijuana cigarettes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's different because you can go to Walmart and buy freaking Claritin, or you can go to the doctor and get prescribed an actual like an actual
And it
I
changes.
don't think it'll ever be
allergy
that way.
drug.
Be what way?
I don't think it'll ever be to the point to where it's like a pack of cigarettes.
I think that's
It honestly, look it up.
It's going-
there are
no,
stores
it's
that
going-
sell it like
there
that.
is. There is packs of joints.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you don't buy them at the corner store. You got to go to a legit.
Oh well, yeah, you
Right,
still have
right,
to go to
right.
a
You-
dispensary.
You feel what I'm saying? Like I don't
Right.
think it'll ever be to the point to where you're going to go down to the corner store and grab your
I think
pack
it
of-
might. I think that's. I'm okay with that though because I like having the dispensary as a dispensary and having it's in its own store, just kind of like a bar, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's you can buy drinks elsewhere, but to get like already pre-made drinks,
And this guy mixes it
and
well.
he mixes it well. He's been
got
doing
good
it for
products,
years.
and
He's
it's
got
cheaper.
good products.
Yeah, it's cheaper for me in my pocketbook than the other place.
Then it should be the same way. You know, I mean, they've made a ridiculous amount of money off of alcohol doing it the way they do it, and they could treat marijuana the exact same way. The exact same way. Actually, they could change the age to 25 because studies show that marijuana has no effect on an already adult brain.
Right.
On already matured brain. Women, it's a little earlier, like 21, 23. Men, 25. Sorry, guys. we get there a little bit slower. Or maybe it's we need more experience to
Maybe
make
we're
dumb
smoking
mistakes.
too much.
Either way. But,
So average purchase $100, 4% taxes to the government.
$4 in tax on a $100 purchase.
$500 billion.
$500 million.
$500 million. Excuse me.
$500 million in the first day, and that's only at 4%. That's not including licensing. That is all going to be federal government revenue. 100% federal government revenue. You want to grow for the purposes of distribution. Well, you're going to have licensing. You're going to have taxation on that.
Yeah.
You're going to have everything that you import, export, everywhere it goes. You're going to have some sort of fee that you need to pay, and that all goes to the federal government. Let's say you want to grow for distribution purposes. Every single year, you're going to have a $10,000 or $15,000 license you have to buy.
Yeah.
If you want to be a personal grower, it's $1,000 a year. I know every pothead on the planet, if you said I can grow personally in my house and I only have to spend $1,000 a year
Well,
rather
there's
than
stipulations
spending
to it. There's stipulations. There's
Of
different
course.
levels. You can
Of
only
course.
like $1,000 might get you up to
up
4 or 5
to a certain
plants.
I
amount,
don't
right?
pay no fucking $1,000. Fuck them.
But it's better than going out and buying weed from somebody else, right? If that's what you want to do and you want to grow. So
They're gonna give me all this shit to do it, and fucking then I pay my $1,000. Then I'll think about it.
okay. You tell them, Micah.
Then I'll think about it.
But I'm saying in terms of ways that the federal
Drop
government,
the mic. I dropped the fucking mic.
Drop it.
this is how we have to change our mindset. If what we want to happen is for it to be legalized, we got to stop speaking like human beings, and we need to start speaking like scumbag politicians. And the only thing the scumbag politician cares about is revenue and money.
And
That's all they care about.
And the other thing is get those politicians fucking loaded.
Oh, well, they're already loaded.
That's what I'm saying. And dude, freaking Colorado, all the states that have legalized it since, their economies have never been better.
Colorado
never
gave-
been
Right.
better.
Colorado gave each person in that state $2,000
Yeah.
the first year in taxes. They gave back. They made so much money that year. The first year they opened,
They said thanks.
they said, "Thank you. Here's
The government
$2,000."
thanked
We
us.
paid our debt.
Wasn't it 2,000 over the property? They got their
Something like
property.
that,
They
yeah.
got their property taxes back.
Yes.
On top of the property tax they paid, they got an additional $2,000 on top of that.
Yes.
Crazy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost 100% positive that's what it was. Because I
That's what
thought
I
it was
think it was.
amazing
Yes.
that happened. And I'm like, why
Insane.
the fuck is nobody else
else
doing
doing
this?
this?
Why haven't we done this? Yes, over here, Georgia. Oh, we finally,
Might be the
medical
good thing
is
of- it
okay,
might be the-
and you can not go to jail. You just get a ticket at the cop's discretion.
It might be a good thing we went blue.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Who knows?
We'll see. I like to think that the possibility is there. They did not really touch it too much. They hit the opioid problem.
Oh, as
They
soon
did
as-
not touch anything about marijuana
As
at
soon
all.
as that son of a gun gets in that office right there, we're going to be down on his little porch right there yonder. We're going to be holding
Yes.
signs saying, "Free America." Give me my marijuana.
Free the marijuana.
The marijuana.
And the funny thing is it'll be two people that not only enacted a crime bill that put millions of black people in jail for small offenses like marijuana distribution.
Hit the clap.
Not only those two people, those are going to be the ones that make it legal. So, all right, somebody tell me how any of this makes sense. It doesn't. Enough of the politics.
Enough.
Let's talk about the weed. Oh shit! I'm sorry,
And
Kamala.
that's what we think about.
I'll never say it again.
Kamala.
But it's just, I mean, politics in general is ridiculous. But what are things that are
it's simple
important to
math.
U.S.
It's
citizens?
simple math
Yeah.
you can do on your computer at home. Honestly,
It took me
it's
all
ridiculous.
of 10 minutes to bring this up on Excel.
It doesn't make sense how
Yeah.
states are still doing that. And you know what's crazy is if you look up how much so the only other way they make money, if it's not legal, they make money off of weed another way. And we all know how it is, because for most of us, it's why we may not get along with, law enforcement.
Mhm.
But that's where it comes
Right.
from, is law enforcement when they make a drug bust.
I mean, you think about how, the only form of a trickle-down theory that has ever worked, right, is how this can solve so many problems the U.S. has. It solves U.S. debt. It solves the health insurance medical crisis that we have
Fucking
with not everybody having it, because this can fund that
It absolutely could.
100%.
Yep.
And then we can eventually whittle out, once Big Pharma realizes how they can make trillions of dollars off of marijuana, it can trickle out things like OxyContin and oxycodone. Good thing is people are starting to wake up to it, and they're realizing that they were smart about it, how they pushed it. First it was, it's medicinal use. It's going to help us. Everything that all three of us have talked about tonight, why do we continue to use? We've had some sort of medicinal background in it.
Yeah.
So the government doesn't care about that. Then they started using kids. And they started showing how CBD and THC affects children that have major seizures and how it gets rid of their seizures right away. This happened about 4 or 5 years ago.
That is my go-to video when
Right.
people ask me, what are the medical uses of marijuana? I say, look up children with seizures
Right.
treated with marijuana.
Major brain issues where they've got to take multiple pills a day. They have 13, 14, 15 seizures. And you give them a little dab of some THC or some CBD, and they're fine now.
It's world changing. Watching these
I have
videos too, it
firsthand-
brings
like
a tear to my
tears.
eye.
Yeah.
Looking
watching
at
these
how it
videos and
changes life.
seeing how these children go from near completely debilitated
Mm-hmm.
and not able to live what a children should be able to live like.
Non-functioning
And
human
it's
being.
almost immediate. It's literally within 5 freaking minutes. It's insane, and it blows my mind to see. And I just don't understand how can you watch this and not understand and not believe it. All Jesus had to freaking do was touch somebody and say, "You're healed," and they were healed, and everybody was like, "You're
Jesus is my
Jesus.
guy.
That's it.
Let's do it."
Okay, well, here's your proof, people. Look it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do your own research.
Yeah.
It's not bad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, do your research.
It's
It's right there.
It's the exact opposite
It
of
is.
bad.
Yeah.
It literally
in
is.
so many. Now, is it for everybody? No.
No, of course
Some
not.
people just can't smoke it.
Some
No.
people can't
Some
drink.
people can't deal with it.
Smoke
Yeah.
cigarettes.
Right. It's just like
no
everything
different.
else.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. Everyone has their own tolerances. Everyone has the things they can and can't do. Some people can't smoke it.
Right.
Cool. You got asthma. I get that. Obviously, you can't put dumb shit into your lungs.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what you can do?
Eat it.
Eat something.
Put it in your bum.
You
fine.
sure can. You can do that too.
Yeah. Blow
It's
it
a
in with a
thing.
straw.
They make suppositories, believe it or not. Don't ask me how I know.
They do. But honestly, and my whole thing about it is if you're curious, fucking try it. It doesn't. Nobody's ever died from straight marijuana. I've looked this up many a times in my panics. You know what I mean?
Has somebody died from marijuana?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I could ever find was like issues, pre-existing issues.
Right. Right.
Pre-existing
Right.
issues having something to do with that. Nobody's ever died from it.
Right.
Same with mushrooms.
Yeah.
You got to eat 2 pounds.
You're talking
if
about
not
all
more.
natural things, baby. You're talking about things that come from the ground, the earth.
You can
Right.
eat 2 pounds of mushrooms literally, and
You're going to have either a really, really, really fun fucking time or a really, really fucking bad time.
Yep.
But you're going to live.
You're going to live through it.
And I hate how people say, the shrooms, marijuana, all natural stuff, right? I've actually heard people say, well, cocaine's all natural. Have
Yeah.
you seen how they make that shit?
With like ether,
Nothing natural about it.
cutting it with
Right.
ether
Yeah.
and all that shit. No,
These are
because people don't know. They don't do their research.
the
They-
way
they,
that
just don't know.
The way that they do natural cocaine in like the Honduras and in Mexico's is they put it into their mouth in their cheek, and they put this alkaline like little substance in it, like a little powder, like a diatomaceous earth or whatever it is, and they throw that in there, and they chew it, and the two alkalides mix together and give them almost like you're drinking a Pepsi or a Coke. It gives you a stimulant. That would be the natural way of doing it. But no, you're dwindling it down like we do sugar and pumping it straight into your fucking vein type shit. You know what I'm saying?
There was an episode of a Gordon Ramsay show where he actually watched how cocaine was being made.
Yes.
And I watched it and I was like, this isn't, they were using like antifreeze or something crazy
Yeah.
like
I
that
have
to
to
like
look that
produce
up.
it.
I love
It's
Gordon
insane.
That's what I'm saying. I think they
I
use like
love that.
He was like,
ether and
loud,
shit.
angry dude.
He literally was like, when they were like finishing the process, he's like, holy shit, that's fucking cocaine.
Yeah.
He's like, this is, it was hilarious to watch because it's Gordon
He's
Ramsay.
like, this is the best food I've ever had, but they're making
yeah.
cocaine right here.
It's just insane.
And but that's not all natural to me.
No, it's not.
If
There's
you gotta-
nothing natural about
if
it.
If you have
break-
to cut it with something, if you have to do anything chemically to it, that's not some form of a natural chemical, because natural chemicals are
So
there.
this leads me
It's,
into
it's synthesized at that point.
Right.
and this leads me to something else because there's new things starting to pop up. They're getting around legalization issues.
Yeah,
It's called Delta 8 and Delta 12.
I've heard. I've
So
heard.
Delta 8 and Delta 12. Delta 8 right now, you can go down to the mall,
Yup.
go into the vape store that's there, and you can purchase Delta 8 THC.
Oh.
So Delta 8 THC, from what I understand, originally it was like when they extract hemp extract out of hemp plants, there's a tiny bit of THC in there.
Right.
And
This
it
is-
is a tiny
Tiny
amount.
bit.
Like, so normal weed nowadays, normal weed is like somewhere within like 20 to 30, kind of getting there. And back in the day, it was more like 12, 10, and Delta 8, if I'm not mistaken, is like, it's small. It's like 5 to 8%.
But they've found how to concentrate it. They've found how to take that and concentrate it to where it actually will get you loaded, like
Really?
regular THC will. So right now you can go down to the mall, get it, and it has the same effect as a regular weed, but it's legal. The other one up the road,
Because I know you can get flour now that has no THC or
But it has
less
Delta
than
8.
It has to be less than, I think, like less than 5%.
From
is fine.
From what I understand, they basically
But it's CBD. Like that's what they're selling it as.
Okay, then this is what I'm getting to is they've taken marijuana and the plant has CBD in it or whatever the case may be, right? We started to genetically modify it, pump it up with CBD. Now we have just CBD plants.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've genetically modified things to now we just have CBD plants. Now they're starting to come out with Delta 8. So basically what my whole thing is we have to get around to cut through the loophole or to get around the legalization issue, we have basically come to a point to where we are now starting to isolate the certain
Psychoactive
ingredients inside of marijuana to where we've taken it down to CBD. Now we're taking it down to Delta 8. Then we're going to start taking it down to Delta 12. And from what I understand, Delta 12 is only 2% away from being actual THC. But it's going to be legal. FDA is clearing it right now. So my thing is how far do we have to get into this hole of genetically modifying marijuana? Why don't you just keep it at what it is? Basically, all these people that are out there going, if we genetically modify our food, we're all going to die. So we can't eat GMO food, right? So that people are saying, it's causing cancer and it's doing this and that.
Because the way we've been eating food for thousands of years has been killing us.
So,
right.
Let's change marijuana. Let's. To me, that's
where the study is. That's where the studying in it. And that's we've gotten to that level only because of the places where it is legal. There's been a whole lot more research done on it now. There's people who it's getting out there now because people know about it now. People are doing their own research. So there's a lot more research on it.
But my thing is you're going around the legality issue of it. Just you're genetically modifying a plant just to get around the legality issue. Raise the fucking barriers.
Right.
Raise those legalities. Get those legalities out of here because stop genetically modifying our shit.
Right.
Just give it to us wholesome. Give it to us right.
You're creating a monster for no reason.
Exactly. But that's what Big
so
Pharma wants. No, they want it.
They do want
get
it
to
modified.
a point
they do want it
where they can
synthesized.
modify it to a point that no one understands it but them. That's what they want to do. They want to modify and say, we have the best one. We have the best of it, period, point blank. We know because we've genetically modified it to be that way. And nobody else is going to be able to know how to do that because they've modified it so many times.
It's all about a source of control.
Yeah.
All you need is the original product. But Big Pharma is yet to see their part of the revenue from the big product because
just tax
it's just not there.
Just tax
That's it.
Just tax it.
And if you tax it simply like what we have up here, you can solve so many crises, right?
It creates jobs.
Everything.
It's such a good boost in the
creates
economy.
Additional
it makes
revolving
no
debts.
Sense
Yeah.
for you to not have it that
Georgia
way. Like,
is
it's
so
ridiculous.
poor. Georgia is so poor.
Right.
Why can't we boost this economy a little bit?
Right.
By
For
doing
real,
this.
honestly.
What are you
How
people
many
thinking?
business licenses are you going to certify in the first month?
How many
people that
construction
will want to
companies do
start
we
their
need in the
business? state
state of frickin' Georgia, but we can't legalize weed and get some more, jobs out there for all kinds of people, for farmers. Hey, guess what? There's like a whole bunch of something in Georgia. I think it's farms. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for real,
You can
though.
grow it, it can be done.
Huge.
It's crazy. I don't understand it.
The last time we'll ever have to say
why
that.
not make the economy better?
By
Knowing there's
legalizing
going to be no adverse effects on you. The only adverse effects are going to be there is
If you take too much.
right. And I mean, like not even like
Or
doing it
pre-existing
medically. I'm
conditions.
talking about strictly about the economy. What adverse effect is there to them legalizing weed?
There is the only the sky
other
is the
than
limit.
Yeah,
the
sky's the limit.
police.
Sky's the limit.
The police fund might need to be a little less because they just don't need that much money anymore.
Well, see, here's the thing:
Or they can focus elsewhere.
if you have licensure and stuff like that, and people having to get licenses, you make those fines. Okay, now it makes sense of why you're locking up this guy because he's
Right.
selling weed because he didn't
Right.
go bother getting a license to sell.
Or
Now you can actually have a stricter fine
Exactly.
and stricter time for it
You sure
because
could.
you have something that you can tether it to, which is an actual legitimate law.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why you can't go into Joe Schmo's bar and buy a drink from him and drink it and do it over and over again if he does not have a license.
Right.
He can lose his business for that.
Lose his business,
As
he
well
could lose his
should.
life.
Yeah.
I mean,
As he
they'll
well
take your life
should.
away.
And think about it. No, and I'm thinking on maybe on a grander scale. So this helps out states, and this helps out cutting our debts and whatnot. Now, if we thought about it on a bigger scale, say we bump that 4% to say 8.5.
Oh, I was going to say a little bit higher than that.
God,
Let's
20.
let's say
Jesus.
10.
Let's say 10.
Let's say 10. $1.3 billion on a $100 purchase day one if only 40% of the population of the United States buy on the first day.
I think, and I might be wrong, it might be different now, but I think the last time I checked, the richest person on the planet has a net worth of about $8 billion-ish dollars.
Let me check. Richest person on the planet.
Isn't
that
it might be
uh,
totally different now because that might have been a year or two ago, but I think it was about $8 billion.
I thought, wasn't it? No, it's not Jeff Bezos. Hang on.
It's one of those big dudes. It's one of those big dudes. It's been changing a lot in the last 2 years. And in the last year, honestly, it's been changing more so because of COVID and everything. If you got lucky and struck in an industry that has done well with COVID, then you've done well. And congratulations, because so many people are not doing well. So many people are not okay.
So the current list, the wealthiest person on the planet is Jeff Bezos. His net worth has gone down, by the way, crazy shit, to $113 billion.
Good God.
Wow. So much more. Wow.
Dude, he could save all the children in the world.
Yeah. And tomorrow, he would still have $10 million in his bank account.
Yeah, dude. It's insane
Because
how that works. Once you
I'm
have
on
so
Amazon.
much money.
Yeah.
He can literally take all of his, and now when we look at net worth, right? Net worths aren't liquidity, so we really got to
Right.
look at what his liquidity is.
And his liquidity it's through the roof.
It's like $8 billion.
It's through the fucking roof. It's ridiculous.
His liquid
So-
dollars is like $8 billion.
Okay, now, getting to my point to where I was going to go earlier with this, why we boosted up the taxes. The
Yes.
reason why for the boost, okay, is because we're going to put it towards healthcare.
Yes.
Okay, so the 5% is going to go towards everybody in the nation's healthcare, not just you.
Hello,
me,
free healthcare.
Okay, now not even necessarily talking about free healthcare, just a lot cheaper healthcare.
Sure.
And I won't even ask for free because I know that to have free healthcare, you gotta up the taxes so much that it pays for the healthcare.
Right. That's why people were so afraid of Biden's plan.
Okay, so I won't even say. Okay. My wife has really bad pre-existing conditions. Right, she's post kidney transplant.
Yep.
When we came off of state California insurance and we came to Georgia, we basically had to float for about 6 months without insurance, right? Which my wife cannot do.
That's scary.
Okay? She can't do it. So it just wasn't going to happen. We had to make sure from selling the house and everything that we had set aside enough for the year to pay for our insurance. We paid $1,700 a month for health care.
Right.
Out of pocket.
It's insane.
No.
Out of pocket to pay for insurance. That's insanity.
It's nuts.
That's insanity, bro.
Now, the average person in the United States spends $11,000 per year, per person, for healthcare. That's the average in the United States. That's people with pre-existing conditions. That's people that don't have any problems and barely ever go to the doctor, right? So it's $11,000 per person. That's a lot of money. It's $3.6 trillion in a year that is spent in the U.S. We're talking 5% taxes on day one, making $656 million. We can get to that number or close that gap to give people an actual affordable healthcare program. The Affordable Health Care Act that we have right now is not affordable health care.
No.
No,
I've had
not
family.
one bit.
I've had people that have tried to get it.
$1,700 a month.
$1,700 a month
with a tax
crazy ass
cut?
copays and all this other shit.
With
It makes
the biggest
no
deductible
sense.
you've ever seen in your
Right.
life. So my current, well, I don't have it anymore. And out, I use the VA healthcare, which is better, not great, but better than it was. And I mean, it's done well for me. But the healthcare I had beforehand at you know where. It was horrid, dude. So I tried to go get an MRI.
Terrible.
I tried to go get an
Fucking
MRI.
horrible.
Tried to go get an MRI. Did not realize my deductible is $2,800. You heard me. $2,800 a year.
Yep.
So I have to pay out of pocket $2,800, and then my insurance kicks in. Did not know this. Copays don't count either.
Doesn't kick in 100%.
It kicks in 80%.
I went.
depending on procedure.
They
It
told
could be
me
50.
I owed them $2,400 for this MRI, and I was like, I have insurance. And they were like, no, you have to pay us. And I was like, huh? You said what?
Mm-hmm.
What? I learned a lot about insurance that day.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about how really, really horrible it is. Like I talked to a couple other people. They were like, "Hey, you did what happened?"
Yeah.
Huh?
So me and my mom had talked about. My grandfather used to had this saying. Basically, he said that all through your life you're going to have a few payments. You're going to have a car bill if you want a nice car.
Yeah.
You're going to have a house note,
Mm-hmm.
and you just got to pay your bills. Right. You're going to have those things. Me and my mom were talking the other day, and our medical bills have racked up. I mean, dude, we probably got $13,000 worth of medical bills sitting right now. Like we're probably never gonna. It's gonna be years before we pay that off.
That's the way the system is designed.
So-
it's not designed for you to win. It's
No.
designed for you to use it.
So the thing,
It's designed for you to yield
now the thing
to their
is,
control.
So the thing is my wife has a hard time letting bills go.
Mhm.
Okay, we're not late on our bills. We're not.
Yeah.
We don't miss a bill. We don't skip a bill. We don't pay less than what's asked.
Right.
We pay what they ask. So this has been really robbing us of about $400 a month. Almost a car note worth of money is coming out of our accounts on top of all of our bills, just to pay for medical bills that I can't even see through right now.
Right.
Okay, this changing America, bringing it back to what is great, is we can have a product that we call our own. Right, we can make this happen. We can tax this stuff, and we have a hard enough time right now just making it through life without a $13,000 bill sitting on our backs. Now this is. I went to the hospital once because I come to find out I had what was cancerous polyps, and it's a good thing I got them taken out because they were going to be cancerous. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So went to the hospital because I was having a bunch of issues and I couldn't take it no more. I was just in so much pain. So
Totally understand.
So went down there and kind of find all this out. But the thing is they're like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. Blah blah blah. You're good. Go home. But I got a $670 bill, and that's with my insurance, and that's meeting our deductible because we already met our deductible for the year with Edith's first 2 trips to the hospital.
Right. It's ridiculous.
Do you know what I'm saying, dude?
Have you ever looked?
It's crazy that it's that much. Look at what your insurance pays. They send you everything. Once a month they send you a full bill of everything you've done.
Explanation
Whatever.
of benefits.
And holy crap, if you saw how much those what a hospital charges, dude, a fucking ambulance is like $5,000. Just one ambulance trip.
Have you looked at the cost of a saline IV drip?
I had to get one. Luckily, I get, like I said, VA, so they luckily covered that for me. But it is not nice. And dude, these, in case you don't know what a saline IV drip, when you're super super dehydrated or just malnourished in general, they have this magical bag of fluid that replaces all of your electrolytes and a bunch of other it's like a
It's your
super
standard-
multivitamin juice box.
It's your standard IV that you get at the hospital if you get admitted or you go to the emergency room. They give everybody an IV drip. You know how much? You know how much the IV
you feel
drip?
so good.
How much is it?
You know how much it costs to produce? Guess how much it costs to produce?
Like
Oh,
40
pennies.
bucks.
37 cents.
I was gonna say
Okay.
pennies.
Guess what the cost is to the hospital? What the hospital pays for it?
Probably around $800.
No, what the hospital pays for it. Not what they charge you. What they
I would
pay
say
for it.
I
Like
was thinking-
$4 a bag.
$1 to $4, $1 to $5 per bag of saline, depending on what pharmaceutical company
Yeah.
you're from.
And then we pay.
They charge you anywhere from $100 to $500. There's over
Hell yeah.
1,000%
Profit, baby.
markup.
Oh, because I was just going to say that because one time
It's insane.
we got charged for Tylenol, and it was $200 to give my wife 8 Tylenol.
Yeah,
8 goddamn Tylenol
for administering
8 Tylenol.
a Tylenol.
I think I got 3 stitches when I was like right here. There's a part of my beard that doesn't kind of grow in right there, and I had to get 3 stitches right there. And I remember my mom being so mad that we had to go to the freaking hospital to get stitches because it didn't look
ain't
that
no
deep.
joke, bro.
Well, it didn't look that deep up until I opened it, like because my dad was like, "Hey, go clean that out so I can see it." And then he came over and I showed it to him. He was like, "Oh, that's way deeper than I thought it was. You're gonna need some stitches."
Okay, so point being, all this being said, we can, we've all had the experiences, right? Like we've all been to the hospital. We all owe bills
Those bills
to a
are
hospital
scary.
or a doctor's office for an MRI or whatever it might be, a colonoscopy or whatever the case is. I haven't even gotten that bill yet, but it's coming.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. But I mean, this is thousands upon thousands of dollars. We're talking about 5% making over $500 million on the first day.
Literally, if you, as a consumer, you want to talk about a democratic socialist program to help everybody, it's legalizing marijuana because your consumer profit, what you're doing in the capitalist society we live in, you are going to be funding through $5 of your contribution for every $100 that you spend. You're going to be funding the largest healthcare program that the United States government has ever had.
Yes.
Now, the problem with that is that we have to wrangle in the issues that we have with healthcare, like a $500 saline bag or $400 in Tylenol.
Yeah.
We have to reduce those costs.
It's a whole lot of change. It's a whole
So-
lot of change.
A
that
lot of
needs to
change.
happen. But it's something that
can
is
happen.
beneficial to everybody,
So
and it can happen. That's
Right.
that's the possible. That's the thing. It can happen. It is possible now to do this.
Okay.
We just need to
And
go after it.
The best part of this is you don't need to reform healthcare and the overbearing cost of healthcare right now to enact this and make it work. You can do it now and then work on reforming healthcare costs later.
So if I went down, and this is typical cost at a collective or anywhere, so at 20%,
20% taxes.
20% taxes, so $50 times 20%. So you're talking $10. That's a $10 increase on my bag of weed. I would honestly be happy to pay that extra $10 to walk out the store with that eighth because I know that I got my weed
And my healthcare.
and my health care.
and you're not going to get pulled over and get a ticket for having weed.
He's too high to talk.
No, I'm eating pizza. That's not fair.
But dude, all we're looking at right now is federal government. We're not even considering the fact that there's state taxation on this as well and what it does for the states. As it did in Colorado, every single state there will be betterment in every single state from this.
Throw that up to 20% real quick. Let's just see.
For taxes, for a $100 cost. Now, keep in mind, this is on 40% of the population buying.
Wow. And I think
2.6 billion.
And I think in I'm going to
Conservative,
give
right?
it 5 years. 40% is very conservative, considering I think it'll be closer to 60.
So
honestly.
let's say it's closer to what we all probably believe, right? 40% is people, doing these market research programs that they don't want. They're like next to their wife. They're like, I don't want her to know I smoke. Or Mom, can you turn away so I can answer this question? Right? So that nobody wants that. So let's say it's 60%. $4 billion on day one if we taxed it at 20%. If we taxed it at 20%.
And the U.S. is the U.S. nation.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. Yeah. What is our debt at right
$23.3 trillion. I'm glad you said that because I
Holy
already had
crap.
it brought up.
now? Wow.
So it would still be
Way to go,
extremely.
US.
It would still be extremely difficult for us to get out of U.S. debt, right?
No, but we'd make a huge dent into it.
Here's the thing: we go into debt further and further, and we borrow more and more money because of social programs in the country, because of things like unemployment, that tax us so dramatically, take money not only out of our pockets, but it actually adds to the negative balance. Aside from all the bullshit that the government does with all of our money, like spending $500 on a hammer and everything that we do, and all this random ridiculous stuff. Or if we want to go to Pizzagate parties, we can talk about Pizzagate parties and all that other stuff. But all the stuff that money is spent on, this money pays for all the actual stuff we need, and they can continue to fuck off with that money because they're going to continue to fuck off with it anyway.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, nobody's going to say what they can and can't use it for. But guess what? They have a lot more of it to use, so they're a lot happier, which means I think everybody else might be a little bit
Leave us the
happier,
hell
too.
alone.
This is on day one. If 196 million, almost 197 million people on day one of legalization of this in the country made a $100 purchase of marijuana, taxed at 20%, spent $120 of your hard-earned money to have weed for a week, that would be $4 billion. That would be half of what Jeff Bezos' current liquidity is in a day. It would make the world's richest man on the planet look like a pauper in a day. $4 billion.
Dude, in a month it's 120 billion.
Why are we not doing this?
Why aren't we doing this?
It's like that Family Guy episode of like stem cell research. Like, why are we not
Why are
funding
we not
this?
funding
You know what
this?
I mean? Like, this makes
Exactly.
no sense. It's just, it's one of those things that I get so incensed
Yeah, dude.
by it.
Every way
because
you think about it, legally speaking, economically speaking, there is no answer as to why we are not funding this.
Right.
yeah, what the fuck?
There isn't.
Why aren't we doing this?
And that's at 20%. And you know, some people might think 20% is a little high. It might be. So let's break it down to 10%. Well, now it's $2 billion. Oh.
So you're still looking at
And now
$60 billion
yeah, but keep in
in
mind,
a month.
we're talking about a single day, dude. A single day we brought in $2 million. Typically for something, people will probably give it like a year, a good year to really figure it out.
give us a
and,
meeting
you know,
with Biden.
Yeah.
Get us a meeting with Biden right now.
right now.
We
This
need
second,
to-
we
yeah,
can
come
pitch
on.
this.
You know what? Replace me with Biden.
But yeah,
Me and Micah 2020. That's what it should have been.
Right?
Right? God damn.
right. dude.
Interesting.
Stupid.
Can I be your guys' manager?
So
Absolutely.
So overall, man, like the thing is it's
Just make my bulge look big in all the presser photos.
They make underwear for that.
yeah.
Do they?
You just put your junk in it, like
Pring-
a little pouch.
Pringles can. I want to look ridiculous.
Well, then stick a sausage in it.
Perfect.
Is this how we're going to be at press conferences? This is going to be awesome,
This
guys.
is exactly how it's going to be at press
I'm
conference. All
ready.
press conferences are just going to be on Too High to Talk. We're not going to.
I'm gonna be dressed like an '80s rocker.
Nice.
Spandex
Nice.
pants with rips in it, spandex shirt, hair feathered
I
out.
like it.
You're going to have a cat painted on your face.
And I'm just gonna walk in everywhere with a guitar.
Nobody wants to be him.
And I'd be like, "You guys ready to fucking rock?" And
I'm gonna dress similarly, but it's gonna be Michael Knight from Knight Rider,
Oh.
and I'm gonna drive that car to every. Oh, perfect.
do-do-do-do-do-do.
My shit.
Nice.
Dude.
Love it.
Nice.
I think a Night Rider every day.
I think we know. Do you?
I think everybody
Yeah.
thinks of Knight
Every day?
Rider.
every
Like,
day
you have
because
to.
you remember
You
how like,
always got the Hoff in your head? That's
I do.
crazy.
It's kind of
It's
weird.
not Hoff, dude. It's
So,
Kit.
you know
I
how like
love
the
Kit.
trailer drops down and then
that's
he,
true,
and
that's
then
true.
he always drove on the trailer, the back of the trailer. Well, I load up, things on trailers all day, and so like I was just like, I'm like the fucking Hoff.
I remember watching that show, going, "Man, this car
I
is
just imagine
so."
you coming out of a pond, taking your shirt off in slow motion,
With the
whipping
Hoff
your
mullet.
beard back
Yeah.
and forth, and everyone just staring at you like, "What is this fat fuck doing?"
Right.
Thinking about the Hoff on the beach.
I remember how thinking.
Different show. Different show.
I remember thinking how awesome.
different shows.
Oh no, the computer went away.
Oh.
I remember thinking how awesome that car was in that show, and then when I got older, I was like, "It's just a fucking Firebird." I could own Kit. Wait, it's all it is
Trans
a
Am.
Firebird.
It's not
It's a
just a
Trans Am.
Firebird.
and a Transbird. My bad.
Transbird, get the fuck
Trans Am.
out.
Too high to talk. But all I need to do is get a $20 LED
Trans Am.
light strip, and I had Knight Rider.
But you
I had
didn't
Kit.
have Kid.
That was it.
But you didn't have Kid
That's all you
like
needed.
talking back to you.
Somebody sold
I'll
a
talk
kit
to
for
myself.
that, and it was like $200. You really could do it.
You could. You know whose voice that was?
Nowadays, you could just put Google fucking, or you could put Alexa, or you could put fucking Siri in your car. Boom, look, automatic kit.
Oh, that's crazy.
Do you know
Didn't even
whose
think about that.
whose voice that was?
Whose?
You're gonna love it.
I know who it was. Like on the tip of my tongue.
Mr. Feeney from
Yes.
Boy Meets World.
Yes, it was.
Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets
Yes,
World
it
was
was.
the voice
That's why
of
he
Kit.
was always so wise. It makes sense. Wow.
He was so wise on that show.
Listen, if you didn't learn a thing or
I'm
two,
sorry, Michael. Like Jesus.
if you didn't learn a thing or two from Boy Meets World
Blow me,
growing
kid.
up, you probably had a terrible childhood.
Topanga.
Dude, oh god, Topanga was the baddest girl.
Yeah.
Oh, crush.
What I really hope everybody is getting out of the show is how intelligent we can be through an entire idea and structure of how to rebuild the economy through the legalization of marijuana, and immediately go into a conversation about Knight Rider.
Yes. And Micah taking his shirt off.
Micah taking his shirt off.
Slow motion.
Whipping my
What was that
beard.
song? Let's turn that song on.
What song?
From Baywatch.
We
I
can't.
don't even remember what it was. I remember the melody.
It's a license.
So that's about
Can't
it.
do that. You know this.
You can't do this.
Anyway.
Anyways, just so you guys know, we're at the 2-hour mark.
Are we?
We're about to shut this shit down.
Oh boy.
It's
Oh,
been a
boy.
long talk, but it's been a good one. Like
It has
It
been
has.
informative.
Yes.
It has been pretty clear and concise. Lots of funny, interesting moments, and some points that were nowhere near base of what we were talking about.
No.
But hey, we had fun.
No.
I had fun, and I really like to thank you guys for the opportunity to be here.
Absolutely, man.
dude, it was my
Love
pleasure.
hanging out. Always.
And this was Too How to Talk. Michael Eder,
Be mine.
my PIC partner in crime.
My man.
Ghost
Thank you for being here.
Don't forget, vote. Diet Ghost or Ghost Zero.
We all know what it's gonna
I was
be.
like,
What you guys want?
It's too late for the polls, man.
Or we could do New Ghost. They did like New Coke. It could be New Ghost.
Get out. Just
No,
get out.
New Ghost isn't good.
No, because Crystal Clear.
We
was
all know
never,
what it's gonna be.
It was never the same.
Crystal Meth?
No, Crystal Clear Pepsi.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Crystal Clear Pepsi was
All right, I'm gonna shut your all's mics off.
Nice.
We're out. Just Too High to Talk.
Peace.
We later.